I call them home built, but you know, race cars that are built up from chassis and stuff like that. So that's quite dominant as the Hondas. And then we also see on camera an 86. We have a few of the series guys who have come down and you know, getting a bit of practice in. My son got that last round, and it's very good to get miles on the clock for those guys.
Yeah, the series is a great option. You get a lot of lap time, a lot of car time. Good way to see the tracks around the South Island.
Oh, they're beautiful tracks. You've got to race here for just on myself this year, and this is a fun track to drive. A lot of commitment through that one. And then, yeah, just some great flying corners that, yeah, and some deadles corner that last one there. That definitely requires a throttle pedal of patience. Otherwise, wheel spin is a friend.
Yeah, and it's a long straight down here, so if you miss out on that, you're sitting back for a while.
So that's what they're trying to do is you'll see them just set up that last corner just to get out of there, because it's so important for this qualifying lap. If you want to hit a lap, you're going to have space, and you're going to have to get out of that last corner right. And we see him go down, getting down the ones now, right, low one, that's good, that is quick. Hall there as well, you were talking Mike Hall, North Island guy in a Honda. Nice car, and then didn't know him well, but he's a Queenstown club racer. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's from Queenstown, run by Padden Group this weekend. He did pretty well up at Ruapuna, round one. So
we've got a red flag. Cars looks like it's off. I can't see where.
That looks like Dylan Petch at Forest Elbow.
Oh yes, I can see him there. Dylan moving up. Oh, there he is on the screen. Dylan moving up from Formula Ford running. Granddad Mark's done a lot in the sport and been around it for a long time, and Dad Chris as well. And then so moving up into the sedans here, and looks like he had a little problem. That was the outlap, and I know from when we were down here, Hayden Padden was actually running a TCR. Very hard first lap on the tyre. Getting some tyre warmth in the rear is interesting, he was saying. It did want to go very quickly with no warmth.
Yeah, those rear tyres are just hanging on for the ride, really. It's pretty hard to warm them up.
Well, I've seen guys in TCR actually run wets, like when it's a questionable thing, because it just does nothing. So if it dries out, it's still fine because the rear's doing nothing. So this is a red flag. So timing is, what do we got to go? 8 minutes 38 gone. So we've got about 7 minutes to go. So we should get this restarted. And but Reece Gould on front, he'll be happy with that. He'll be very happy with that. And then the Honda second, so we've got a mix of cars there. Scott O'Donnell there in fifth. Some of the names, Mark Meadows there, he's a long-time competitor there, 21st in the Lotus. He's always a guy that follows the whole national championship, does so many rounds in his little Lotus, and has fun, has a mate who comes around in the garage, and it's just a good little team that does so many different rounds and just enjoys it.
Yeah, Paul Martin and Mark Meadows are a great crew. I think Mark Meadows won the class, what was Class A, now Class 5, a couple of years ago, so he's always a top runner.
And it's a cool little Lotus. And,
it's a great little Lotus.
Yeah, and I love the Lotus little cars, so it's good to see them out there and doing it. Saxon Sheehan also there with an bad time on 11. You'd like to see a 10, I'm thinking. Yeah, Dylan Petch hadn't done it. Yeah, hadn't done many laps, so probably a cold tyre there or a problem. He's back up running now, so the car's going. So we should be back underway pretty quickly.
Yeah, I want to get the cars back out pretty quick.
Weather conditions in Invercargill, 7.2 degrees, but it feels warmer than that actually.
It's certainly warmer than that in here.
I came from Singapore, and I think it was about 40, and humidity of about 8 billion. So Reece Gold, we're back running after the Dylan pitch. What a quick job, actually. Southland Car Club, the volunteers that get out there. It is FIA Volunteer Week, so we really appreciate weekend. So we really appreciate our volunteers. They do a fantastic job. The Southland Car Club, Southland Sports Car Club, just absolutely fantastic. One of the founding clubs of motorsport in New Zealand, and talking to a flag marshal, he's been down at point 1 since 1990. So I'm pretty dedicated to his point, and they've sent all the young guys there. So when we see anything at point 1, Paul, he's our point 1 man. So thanks for FIA Volunteer Weekend, and we're going to start seeing some hot laps soon as they wrap up this pace after the stoppage there. Got to get some time warms back. As a racer, tyres probably the key thing for qualifying.
Yeah, you want to get the greenest that you've got, get them warmed up, and you've pretty much got 1 or 2 laps here. It's high tyre dig here at Teretonga. You're hanging on for dear life in the infield. Really rewards bravery, that's for sure.
Now that's right on the Horan there, and that's black and gold 86, and Jacob Garger with him with that Lotus. That's a car I'm looking forward to watching. Raced a lot this year. Jacob actually won a credit insurance scholarship in Sanyong Utes and had a year up in Sanyong Utes this year. And him and his dad run that 24 red little Lotus there. And then that's Brooklyn Horan there in the 86, young 13, 14-year-old young kid. Had an incredible first rally result. His dad's been around rallying for years, and he went into his first tarmac rally and got second in the car that should not have been second. And started for the last couple of rounds in the 86 championship, and really impressed me. Ran really well. So young Brooklyn Horan is one of the young guys to watch in New Zealand motorsport for the future. Not sure if it's going to be on gravel or on tarmac, because a lot of history in his family with it, but he is a good driver. Now on screen 220. The Audi there. Where is he? Timing. He's not got a lap in there at all, is he?
No,
There's Denzel Travers there, 10th actually. He's a bit further down than 12th, sorry, with a 106. So going to be looking for some speed in that car. They do look good, those Audis, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's good to see Warren Blackburn out there after an engine change from yesterday.
That's right, full engine change for him. I saw that it was out, so problems yesterday there.
Barry Moore would have been on the Spanish flying with the developments. He's 6 with the M3.
Jumps up there to 3rd, he does. We put a lap in with a 2. He'd be happy with that, actually, won't he?
He'll be very happy.
There'll be a smile on his face when that comes over the radio. Well, actually, most of the time now you get it on the lap timer in the car, and there's a little victor if you're up or down, and usually you're just trying to not stuff up the last corner when that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we see the other Lotus there, that's the Lotus on screen we were talking about earlier of Mark Meadows.
And Will Taylor behind him, looking to get past. He's potted up Tegra with sequential shifting box.
Sequential box?
Yep.
Nice, I love a sequential box. Just feels so good as they pull through the gear. It's
paddle shift.
Oh, paddle?
Yeah, paddle shift. It's awesome to get that car.
Oh, wow. I did a GT4 Porsche with paddle shift, and I felt like I was actually being lazy. Like, I was just like one finger changing gears. It was sort of, yeah, surreal. Who's that?
That was Warren Black pulling off to the pits.
Doesn't really see. I thought Warren, well, he has had those engine issues, but he's normally actually further up the field than that. He's usually right around Scott O'Donnell, currently in second for Scott with a 101.6. Chasing down our fastest driver right now, Reece Gold there. Gould, sorry. Reece had a big accident in the V8s actually in a muscle car, and good to see him back on track and doing so well.
He's a good driver.
Mark Meadows, they're racing. This is going to kill both lap times here, because that looks like he's defending the position on the inside line. Yeah, we might want to change the camera here. Commentary, yes, there's racing going on for sure here in qualifying. That never sets up a good lap, and usually means there's a backdrop. Just drop back, just drop away, just slow down now, get the run. But down Saxon Sheehan, talking to him in the pits, young driver, did well last year. He's looking for a bit more sponsorship, trying to get all the rounds of the National Championship for the coming season, but looking for a bit more support. So if you're watching the stream and you want to support a good kid from down this way and in the National Championship sort of scene, definitely Saxon, really nice, well behaved and good kid, and he started showing pace during the year at times, and I really think this long series of getting involved is going to help him towards some really good results this year. As the checkered flag's out, we'll let them finish their final laps and we'll run through the lap score, but Gould still up there with O'Donnell second, Moore in third with a 1.7. He's gone even faster, he's broken the ones, he'll be very happy. Then Power Knott in the Hyundai. Mike Hall, so that's the first of the, Mike Hall, no sorry, that's another TCR, Mackenzie Black, Wall, then Gaja there in 9th. Pitch got a lap in and eventually in a 10th with a 5. Then 11th was Travers, Matthew O'Donnell, James Mitchell, Will Taylor, Sam Wallace I think was in the car for the qualifying, Dave McLennan. So this class here and all the classes, there's a pit stop involved for the race, is that right?
Yeah, for the race there's a compulsory pit stop, stationary time in the pit lane 45 seconds, and you've got to take that pit stop between 20-minute and 40-minute window.
And the last runners come through. We haven't seen any changes up the top there. It's good to have so many cars on a grid, so many different coloured cars, just bright. It's great to see one of our little Honda competitors finishing up.
Yeah, and the leaders of the Hondas, so there's Class 4 out there and Class 5. So the leaders of Class 5, we're looking at Chris Hall, who's come down from the North Island. He's done a 104, which is exceptionally quick for a naturally aspirated Honda.
That's a K24, did you say?
I think so. Oh no, it must be a K20 if it's in Class 5, so it's below 2 litre.
Okay, so yeah, okay, K20. That's
There's a roundup of the qualifying.
So here we go. We'll run through the qualifying order for you. Reece Gould on pole there for the TCR car, so we're just going through classes. O'Donnell second, Barry Moore in third, so that gap of less than a second in the top 3, so that's going to lead some close racing. Then just over the second is Power Knott, Michael Russell McKenzie there, Denzel Travers, Warren Black there in the TCR, Chris Wall, and Jacob Gaja.
Jaya? Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one.
No, I've talked to him all year. Surely I've got it right by now. I've sponsored the kid. He's a really nice kid, and his dad, and yeah, they go around. Will Taylor, Dylan Petch, Matthew O'Donnell there in the Audi, James Mitchell in the Honda, Sam Wallace, Dave McLean, Bradley Dawson there in the Mazda. A couple of good Mazdas there actually. Donovan Isted. And then Brenton Sullivan and Eaton Hodgson. He's double dutying old Eaton Hodgson. He's another young talented kid coming through that's doing a Porsche in the next session, so he's going to be trying to get between things. Jordan Wallace there in 26th, and Art Marcus, Nico Scholes, Max Wilson, and Paul Martin there in 30th. I think that's all 30 cars. That's a good grid. That is a very good grid. But pole position for Reece Gould, as we're going to be moving to some really quick cars, a whole lot of Porsches and some nice V8s. We're going to hear some nice sounds coming through now. As the Wolfbrook boys lined up there on the front row.
Championship of that last class, the points.
So overall, we've had one round so far in the North Island Championship and
South
Island Championship, sorry, and part of the National Championship as well. But Reece Gould, 95 points. Barry Moore in second. Paolo Knott is one to watch there. Scott O'Donnell, I know I talked to him last night, disappointed there in fourth. He wants to push up here on his home track. Warren Black, Denzel Travers, Russell McKenzie, Cole Askew, Brent Sullivan, and Eden Hodgson, who we were talking about there in ninth. Tim McAsee, Jared Pike there, that's a good result there in the Mazda in 11th. Reese Turner, Corey Stewart, where is it? Cormac Murphy, actually, he had a great round, actually. He was the top 86 at that first round. He drove well. Taylor Bryant, Tom Bewley, Saxton Sheehan. There's a whole lot of the National Championship competitors there in the 86s. Michael Court, Mike Hall, Jordan Wallace, who's down here again, and she's running her first runs in the 86 and trying hard. Mark Denton, Brooklyn Horan, that's a young driver to watch for me. Flynn Mitchell, Jamie Wilson, Sam Wallace, Paul Martin, and Mark Meadows, who we talked about, 20 points. But he's always there. So he's always going to get his 20 points because I think that's what you get for turning up. And here we go. These are the fast boys. This is the 1 hour quick class, class 2 and 3. Matt Whitaker won it last time with Eaton Hodgson with a great performance in a not as quite a good car. There's different variants of these Porsches. Adam Julian with a good run as well. Jared Owens is a good bloke, actually. He's got one of the new 991 cars. Seb Manson, who's over in... We don't have him this week. He's in Malaysia, I think, doing the Ferrari Academy selection process. So from South Island Endurance Series to that. That's what we have. Some of these young kids you're seeing have that sort of talent level. Ryan Wood a couple of years ago showed his way in this class. Ronan Murphy last year showed his way in this class. So this is a class where you can watch these young, fast drivers. We've got Grant Sylvester there. That's a name from... millions of years of South Island racing. Lindsay O'Donnell there in 15th. Francois Briziac in one of the Porsches. Beautiful Porsches, those boys, and the French boys, they love racing. Bruce Davidson, Jordan Merkels, another Southland boy, Glenn Brazer, Nick Chester. That's a fast car that had an unfortunate result, but that should be one of our front runners this week. Scott Flanagan, Martin Dippy, Angus McFarlane. These are the guys who didn't do so well or finish, so not so good.
Alan Dippy's back out after his mishap at Ruapuna. He ended up hurting his back after he hit at the wall with his Porsche. But he's got medical clearance and he's back in.
It's getting hot there, that Porsche. There's radiators right there at the front. If you touch them, they seem to break. It's a $10,000 front thing for Porsche. I think they use those as a... well, I'll let you talk us through the track. You're more of a knowledgeable man than me.
We're down here at Teretonga, lovely track, only 8 corners, but it's all very high speed. Yeah, so 7 turns. So turn 1 is the loop, high speed, turn 1, coming in pretty hot and rewards bravery, as does every corner around here.
So that's all about the run down the front straight. You're trying to get side by side, get to the inside, late brake through. That's the pass.
Brake as late as you possibly can.
And the biggest of big is if you go around the outside there, right? Like if we see anyone do that this weekend, we call that a Kahona moment, right?
That's a big move.
That is a big move. So anytime we see, and it's even on lap guys to go around a slower car on the outside there is tricky. Well, we've got some schedule here through Castrol. Castrol's a good little corner, comes through there. But the other one we're going to talk about, GWD Elbow, as these cars come out. That's the run on the straight. That's what these guys are going to be trying to set up this lap during qualifying. So today we are already at 9:25. We're running a little bit late. But we've got the class 1, 2 and 3 guys out. And then we're going to have the 3 hour. Then we come back at 10:20 for some racing. So class 4 and 5, first of all, that's that first group we've seen, and then this class here at 11:40. Then they're going to let us have a break, 12 o'clock for a lunch break, and then we'll come back at 1:30 for that 3 hour race. Last year, probably the best race in New Zealand was that 3 hour race that they had last year. The battle for the lead, then the drama with the car running out of gas. I think that was probably one of the best races I saw in the entire season last year, that 3 hour. So if it repeats this year, this is must-watch TV here on the Pits TV. Thanks to the team at the Pits, actually. The great vision you're going to get from Pits Media. They've done a great job getting cameras all around the place. And look at the sights and sounds of Ruapuna. There's so many. Sorry, Teretonga. Sorry, I missed first round and I'm still there. I'm still in Thailand on holiday. Sorry, guys, to be honest with you. Singapore Grand Prix was fun. And now I've got to do this in Invercargill. It's a bit of a change. They just got to warm up their tyres. The Michelin tyre, great Michelin tyre. A lot of them running quite a hard tyre because it's a 1 hour, so it does take a couple of laps to bring up the warmth, and they're slowly bringing it up through the carcass right now. Quite a slow lap here. I was expecting a few more guys, a bit more push to get that tyre warmth with a 7-degree day. But they're all just sort of rolling around right now, aren't they?
Getting some brake temp in.
Trying a bit, yeah. No, I like the guy out here last 747, that late come out, he's working his brakes, he's got his own space. Yeah,
that's Matt Whitaker. So
Matt Whitaker, that's a smart move. I think that's really good from Matt. He's going to actually get some temp up on this lap. These guys are just a bit slow to bring up any temp for me at all. Wolfbrook boys there, a whole lot of Porsches. Those Mark Mustangs are cool though, aren't they?
They're a great looking car.
Sound good too.
Local boy Jordan Mickles in his one. I think he's running Yokohama tyres this weekend, so it's something different out in the field. So it's be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, Michelin, tried and true, great series sponsor, so see something else. But the problem with Michelin's is I've tried others and I seem to have to go back. They are, you do pay for them, though. I do say that, but every time I go racing on something else, I'm slower, so it's quick money. Yes.
Andrew Bartlett and Mark.
Out of the pit lane, we get the Audi. That's an awesome looking car. So we've got GT4 cars out there. We've got a good group of Porsches out there. We're just waiting for them to start to get some time in. These cars should all be under the minute. Well, the front guys, sorry, will be under the minute, and it will be fast, hot-paced action in this class.
Yeah,
They're already side by side down the front, straight into one. We talked about the move not wanting to be around the outside, and definitely smartness has come there and slipped in for another, slipped in behind. So Jordan Mickle's currently the fastest with a 10, but those times aren't representative yet. As I said, that first lap was quite slow, so I think you'll see 3 laps in or so, the tyres will start to warm up and they'll start to try and put in a lap. GT4 McLaren, love that car there. Such good history with New Zealand and McLaren and Formula One and all the things. And we'll be all watching for Liam Lawson tonight, actually, qualifying tonight at a reasonable time, which is fantastic for New Zealand for a change.
It's nice to be able to watch it before you go to bed.
Yeah. So here we go, Jordan Mickles, I think we've got in front of us the Sylvester car there as well, 2 Mustangs. One is going to be driven very, very quickly. Jordan is a fast driver from down here.
He'll know the track pretty well, so he'll have that advantage.
Wolfbrook boys trying to get some speed down. A little bit of a slipstream too might have helped him into one. This might be a flyer for that Wolfbrook, that Steve Brooks Bill Ride. I'm not sure who's in the car. 59.7, they're starting to get down in the area they want, but he got a nice little toe there in that Wolfbrook car, and I think he might be on a lap. He's going to be worried about the quicker car. There's another Porsche in front of him, the Pacific Finance car in front of him, so he's going to hope that doesn't. But he looks like he's far enough back, and the Pacific Finance car's doing very well there to keep in front. So wait till they get on the straight, he might get another toe, but this is looking like a good lap from Brooks. He is getting it down on the line there. We're saying Brooks is in the car. Sorry, Bill, if it is you, but he is driving well there as Brooks. These guys they've learnt their craft through this series, and that's great. Like, they've done a lot of laps now, and they're starting to get better and better. They're one of the AM drivers, but they've put in a lot of laps and a lot of time. So the AM, he's flashing the lights though. There's a toe there, buddy. Just take your toe. Take your toe. What's the lap time there? Hodgson with the quickest now with a 59.0, but it's going to get quicker. What did Brooks do? No faster there, the 59.7. Oh, no, there it goes. Brooks with the 58. That's starting to get it where we want. Told you there was a little toe.
Yeah, they're looking at 57s. Jordan Mickles made the 56s yesterday, so that'd be all. And 56. Here he is, 56.3 already.
There we go. That's that Mark Mustang. As across the line we go with these 2 Porsches. So many Porsches this one, and it's so hard to tell because very small variations in the wing and stuff like that is how you differentiate the different cars and what potential they actually have at a track like this, because there is quite a bit of difference in the front tyre and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's about 5 or 6 different generations out there that all look pretty similar.
Yes, so sorry if I offend any Porsche guy and say something's a 992.2 instead of a 0.1 or whatever it is, but yes, they are all beautiful Porsches. But Mickles is definitely a cat amongst the pigeons. There's no Porsche there. There is no flat 6. That is V8. And he's out the front. So, trying to just pick through a bit of traffic there with the GT4 Ginetta. He had a massive accident last year at the Timaru round. I was actually out there racing against it and saw the front of the car about 10 foot high. I thought the whole thing was up there, but it was just the front clip of the car that had just gone skyrocket. Freaked me out in the car, to be honest with you. It was pretty interesting to be next to when I thought a car was that high next to me. Let's see, Jordan Mickles, 55 now, 55.8, and he's 3 seconds quicker. These boys in these Porsches are going to have to turn it on because Jordan, he's laid down a lap time there at the 55. That is impressive.
That's 2 seconds off a GT3 from the 3 hour, so that's really quick.
The speed is in the track though, because we do have cold temperatures I think there were some pretty good times yesterday. We'll talk about that more when we get into 3-hour qualifying. But it is a fast track. There are a few lakes around, though, also. I believe on Wednesday, jet sprinting was probably more closer to what we thought we were going to do. I was wondering if I was going to get a flight down on Thursday night.
The volunteers were out here. The volunteers were out here till like 9 o'clock on Thursday night trying to get the track pumped dry. But they've done a bloody good job, so here we are racing.
Now that Wolfbrook car doing a great job just hanging out on the outside. That's what you got to do. He did a couple of hot laps. He's trying to get his tyre back under him, and he's just nicely led everyone by. So that was fantastic from him as these fast Porsches are coming through. But Jordan Mickle's still on pole. Hodgson with a 58.2. Oh, Julian now. Julian's moved up to a 57.9 in the Audi. That's a nice lap time.
That Audi's new to the series this year.
So that is a GT3 car, but because of its generation, it can run in this, because those new GT3 cars would not be allowed to run in this. So we're going to watch in the 3-hour.
Yeah, that's correct.
So once a car sort of gets so old enough, it's then deemed back in the 1 hour and allowed to run.
Yeah, so pre-2015 and naturally aspirated, you're allowed to run in the 1 hour.
Fantastic, and yeah, it's good to see. It's a nice looking car, so it's great to see it out there. Adam will be happy. I think he was third at the first round, but let's have a look. Oh, the French boys are starting to come now in their Porsches. Brooks there in 6th, Whitaker there in 7th. I love the actual livery of that Porsche when you see it from full side on with the Porsche. There's the Grant Sylvester one. He's a bit further down there in the Sylvester's Mustang. He's been running my whole life, and I've been around the track for 40 years, so I don't know when he started, but he is a long-time runner. It's got to be 50 sort of years plus that Grant's been running, I think. Definitely been a long-time competitor in motorsport, because as long as I can remember, he's been out in a car of some description, and usually a Ford.
And usually a V8.
Yeah, and usually a V8. Was in the Trans Ams for years, did a lot of different running at top level, and it's great to see him out here running down in Southland. But Jordan is still the quickest, with Julian in 2nd there. Hodgson's jumped up to 3rd. That is a young man with talent that's trying to show his way. He's the fastest of our Porsche runners. Look at that grid of Porsches there that come through. Spot the odd car, but out the front is Ford.
And Bruce Davidson on screen now. He's doing his 10th year in a row in this car. Great Corvette, and he's definitely a classic in the series. He loves it. And
Skulls there with a 1 minute flat. That's quick for a GT4 car. That's good running from him as we watch them come around. What I haven't seen out at there, actually, I haven't seen her, is Christina Orr. Oh no, she's in the 3-hour, isn't she? Trying to remember that GT4 car. I was trying to think the GT4 cars in this class.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, 3-hour.
Yep, there's a Corvette there. Doing a good job. Look, nice looking car, and 10 years in the series. That is awesome to hear. Who we got up the front here? Still Adam Julian in 2nd, Hodgson, Mana Malzak in 4th. The 992 of Dippy there in 5th. He's the one who's coming back from the accident.
No, that's Martin Dippy. Alan Dippy coming back from the accident.
Yep. Brooks. Oh, Whitaker's jumped up there. Malzak as well.
Oh, Jordan Mickles must be pretty comfortable because he's sitting in pit lane.
Well, he's 1.2 up right now, and that's a lap. A 55 and a V8 is a lap, so he's probably said, hey, I've set my number, let's save some tyre.
Yeah.
And looking at the times, it's probably front row anyway, and it's a 1 hour race, so good on him. Save some tyre, good work, put down your lap nice and early. The thing I do find, though, this Michelin tyre rubber does build, so sometimes there is a last lap if there's a lot of people out on that same Michelin rubber. It does sometimes build up for a good lap, so that we will see some good times coming through here to end the session as we're 11 minutes in, so the sort of 4 minute mark to go as we watch these Porsches go around. Oh, now there's a different car, the Canyon Brewing one. Now that's not a GT3.
No, that's not a GT3, so that's Patterson in that. He's running a turboed Audi that's been built, so it's an R8 road car that's been built up with all the GT3 kit on it, and it's got a TCR engine put in it. So it's a classic shed build from Queenstown, and it's looking for a good lap time.
He's going well. They just have fun racing too. That's the good thing about those boys. They've got a smile on his face every time he gets out of the car, and sometimes a little bit red, but yeah, always a smile. Fitness is something to work on. And then bending your elbow at the bar doesn't help it so much as he thinks it does. But no, great guys, and really enjoy it there in the Canyon Brewing car. Yeah, different car, love it, home-built car, and guys with just great attitudes to motorsport is cool to see. And doesn't it look good?
That looks great.
If I bought a home-built car, yeah, probably front bumper would be falling off and everything else.
Yeah, I definitely want a brewery as my sponsor as well.
Yes, yes. Or at least the daughter. Anyway. Jordan Mickles there in pit lane, just sitting there taking it as out comes Alan Dippy out of pit lane there as the Wolfbrook boys. They're going to want to push up a couple more spots. Steve would want to he want to be around Martin Dippy and those boys there. He's been running good this year. So Hodgson's there, the fastest of the Porsches with a 57.9, 58.0 for Malmazek. Where's Francois? He's a bit further down. They're normally quite close together. Mana's, sort of got into motorsport, started the path in the GT4, came into endurance racing, and they've just kept on step by step, getting faster and faster, doing more laps. Guys I regularly see at GT days that are out more than pretty much me, which is incredible. So I just love the sport, just come with a great attitude. I know Francois has got his wife now even racing a little Porsche Boxster, and the whole family's into it, and it's just awesome to see that they've just come in and embraced New Zealand motorsport. Is that flashing light across from us says we are running down here. You need to put your lap together, and Julian there, 57.0. But Mana, who we're just talking about there now in third place, he's moved up in front of Hodgson to take that honour of first Porsche. Better generation car, but Hodgson there bopped down to fourth, but second in the Porsches. And then Matt Whitaker there in fifth place there in another Porsche. Steve Brooks in the Wolfbrook car, we've been watching him a lot. Brazier there in car 34. Dippy, McFarland, Davidson, Scholes, Grant Sylvester there 13th. We're just going to change there. Neil there into 14th. Then Patterson, the man we're talking about with the brewery. Flanagan, Wright, and Lindsay O'Donnell there in 18th place. But in the McLaren. So out of the pits comes Jordan Mickles. Is he worried that he's going to have to set one, or is he just maybe just doing a little tyre run just to maybe get the next set of tyres ready?
Yeah, getting the pressures right for the race.
Just see where he's at, but I don't think he's under too much threat, and the checkered flag's out, so he's not going to set a lap. So he must be doing something here, just trying to get a tyre under him or something like that. That's the level these guys going to, just getting a tyre ready. That's quite smart there from the boys. Don't want a full green set. That full green set, that first couple corners can be quite interesting. So just a little half heat cycle through it, maybe make it a bit nicer in through turn one for the first lap after a pit stop.
Yeah, get rid of the wax on the outside.
Yeah, no, that wax, I spun on turn one first lap with that wax on a tyre once here actually at the Summer Series. I was frustrated as anything. So first time up was a wet tyre, came out. Yep, not so good. But anyway, front wheel drive car, get on the gas, don't get off it when you're starting to spin. Forgot that. Oh, this is what we're waiting for.
This is the series leader.
I believe he can even wrap up the national championship this weekend. As we just have the last runners come through, we haven't seen any changes up the top there. Still Jordan Mickles, I call him Michaels all weekend, I'm sorry, Mickles. Adam Julian, Mana there in third, Ayrton Hodgson. That is one of the earlier spec cars, so that is an impressive performance. I know they're also Porsche, but that is an impressive performance. Matt Whitaker, he's a good driver there. He loved that looking car. Mountain Dippy. I'm not sure if it's Steve Brooks or Bill Riding in the car, but we think it was Brooks. We've been giving him all the credit. That was a good run. Glenn Brazier, Alan Dippy, Angus McFarland, Bruce Davidson there. But we've got these 3-hour cars coming out. These are some of the fastest, they are the fastest tin tops in New Zealand right now. Oh, Crawford's are there too, but these are amazing. Last year the race was just insane with those last few laps and the battle. We're going to have the points come up from the last round, and we'll see where that is, because this is also National Championship and South Island Endurance Series round 2, and it's round 4 of the National Championship. So this is the South Island Endurance after round 1. Sam Fillamore is currently leading after that great performance. The Pedersen and Pedersen, father and son duo in second. Then that Brookson riding in an Audi, so they're back in the pit changing over. I don't know if different driver does each session or what.
They've got 3 cars down here this weekend.
Smith and DeVeth, Knighton and Lawson. That was a good run from them actually last time. Helms and Murphy aren't here this time. Dippy and Penny. Saw John last night. He's a good old rooster. Francois Biziak and Malzmazak. We talked about Spratt and Gardner. They've run pretty well there, Spratt and Gardner actually. That's a new car and they're doing well. O'Donnell and Greg Murphy. That's not a bad combo. Rhodes and Rickaby. Orr and Morris. Barrett and Frew.
And the old Super Tourer.
There's my son, Thomas Mallard and Peter. They had a good little rundown. Enjoyed that first round. Unfortunately, back up in Auckland for this one, missing out. More and more, Rogers and Green and, I'll just say Van Gisbergen. Anyone heard of that guy? Anyone heard of him? Brought a few people. I saw some pictures from the pits at Ruapuna. It was pretty impressive how many people showed up. And I think
it's a great crowd.
I think a good part of it is it's a great series, but having Shane come definitely helps with bringing people through the gate, and it's great he comes back and does that for New Zealand Motorsport. Unfortunately, he's actually at the rally this weekend, so he's still doing New Zealand Motorsport, but he's at the Daybreaker. I haven't looked at the results. Have to have a look at some stage, and we'll give you some updates from the Daybreaker with Van Gisbergen there. Cream Insurance sponsored car there actually. Pretty proud to sponsor him. That was the easiest sponsor proposal I ever received. Pretty amazed, to be honest, to even receive it. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. So, Shane's out there doing rallying this week, so we're missing him this week down here at Teretonga. But awesome he comes back and does these things in New Zealand Motorsport. And, we're just waiting for a bit of a track clearance as we should be getting underway shortly. Back on Pits TV, we're back racing here. 3 hour. Sam Fillmore, Johnny Reid. That is going to be the quick cut. Well, actually, rules are you got to start who qualifies, right? So if they want the option of
Yeah, so if you want your pro driver to qualify, you've got to start with your pro driver, and you'll be finishing with your AM.
normally they try and one pit stop it, but they're really eking it on that. So yeah, good to have a late change or something. And then the second driver, so one driver has to do a minimum of 1 hour and 10 minutes as well. So that's the other thing. It's 1 hour 10 that the driver minimum is. So, and then the other driver obviously does the rest of the race.
Yeah, so no compulsory pit stops or anything else, just minimum driver time. And first to the flag at 3 hours.
Warming up tyres, getting themselves ready is out there, and we're not sure who's in car. Wouldn't mind a little word if we could get a little message through and of who is in that car. They do have
co-driver lights, but we're looking out for them.
We're trying to see the who's in the car.
It looks like a co-driver light. So that'd be Sam Fillmore.
Sam Fillmore, we're going to say is the co-driver. That's the problem. I don't have a list of who's the co-driver and who's the start or who's the main, but we believe that's going to be Fillmore in the car. You'll actually know, because if it does sort of a 53, that's Reid in the car.
Yep.
If it's 53, 54, Reid in the car, 55 or so, around that Jordan Mickles time would actually be pretty good for a Sam Fillmore. And if he's any quicker than that, he'll be very proud of his performance. He's done a lot of driver training actually with Johnny, and it's really picked up his driving over the last 12 months. He's really credited Johnny with helping him out a lot and improving himself. So be interesting to see his performance here. Our current national champion, and I think reigning South Island champions as well from last year.
Yeah, if Johnny didn't reset the lap record at Ruapuna last round, he would have been right on the money.
Yeah, it's incredible the speed in these cars. And there's Christina Orr out there. I think it's her in the car. Yeah, Christina Orr West is in the car, we believe. GT4. There's the Mark car. Actually, there was one we didn't see in the last one, the Mark car. Chester was meant to be running.
Yeah, they're not down here for this round.
Oh, they're not doing this round?
No.
Oh, Facebook lies to me. I'm sure I'd seen they were running. So night and threes, really, we're going to see these guys, as you say, down to 53. So they're just all warming up the tyres. Somewhere around, the Porsches again will be in the more the 56s, 57s there. That's a similar spec to the Whittaker car there for O'Donnell. Steve Brooks in the GT3 Audi. Rhodes there in the Mark car. Martin Dippy out there as well. So Hayden Knighton, he's one of our AM competitors.
AM, him and Kane Lawson.
So they're running for the Michelin Cup. It's great the series rates the AM class just like the pros. It's just, they're on the victory lane and everything like that for the AM winner. Get a nice trophy. It's an awesome thing to do. Some of these drivers are true pros, and it's really an unfair competition because, well, I've raced against the pros and, yeah, they're good.
Yeah, well, Johnny Reid yesterday reset the unofficial lap record here for Tin Tots with a 53.9, I believe it was.
That is fast. Fast. Steve Brooks out there is currently our fast man. I don't know. We were saying it was Brooks in the last one. Should we give it to riding in this one? Let's
Yeah,
just
why
call
not?
it riding in this one. We're going to, if it was the last one, we gave him some credit of driving well. So Bill out there in front there in 57.1. Yeah, so sorry, not sure in the car. Surely someone from the pits that knows me can send me a messenger of who's in the car for that one. But Steve Brooks and Knighton, Pedersen, Rhodes, Spratt, Smith, Dippy, Malmazak, all West GT4 car there. Run against Christina for 10 years. Yeah, but Steve Brooks there in the car 888. We're not sure if it's him or riding. We will get that shortly through. But Steve Brooks and riding the Wolfbrook car there. That's been a quick runner. They're doing, I think you said they had 3 cars here this weekend. And they've been doing really well in the Wolfbrook car. Knighton, Pedersen, Rhodes, Spratt. So waiting to see some of these GT3 cars jump to the front. 57, what are we thinking, 54s, that's it. And
54 would be pretty good.
And then a 55 for sort of an AM sort of driver would be pretty good. So let's see what they can do. Let's pick up these times. 57.112 from Steve Brooks. He'll be happy with that. Or sorry, Bill Riding, I think we're saying it is, because we gave Steve credit in the last one. And he's surely not doing double duty. Yeah. Bill wouldn't make him do that, would he?
Nah, surely not. I know Hiramana Malmazak will definitely be in that 908 setting a time, because he's a bloody fast driver for an AM.
He is, and just built up through, middle-aged men, started racing, always wanted to do it, had some success in business and started through endurance racing, and as I say, out there all the time. So really good on that one there. Scott O'Donnell there in 10th. He'll be looking for around that minute mark, sort of 58 type thing. Got a harder tyre though for this weekend with the long running, so he'll be trying to get some warmth in that tyre. I know that was his biggest issue, is to get some warmth. And then the Moore and Barrett. It's great in this class. You've got some home-built cars that are considerably slower, but they've got their own place and they're running their own race for class. And I know that we ran against that Altezza. My son was racing hard against that Altezza for a number of laps, and good battles there even with the slower cars. So
yeah, that Moore Altezza's had a bit of an upgrade over the off-season, so it's now turbo-powered. So it's moved up to Class 4.
Yeah, well, we were Class 5, but we were battling them pretty good, and they said it definitely had some straight line handling versus the normally aspirated 86, and then the boys were trying to climb all over them in the corners, and they really enjoyed, and good guys. I know the more guys actually come through 2K Cup and a whole lot of other series, and it's just great seeing them out there and they're really enjoying it. As we're getting some Paul Pedersen in the car, Bree Morris is in the car, John Penny is in the car. No, John O'Lester. So, yep. So that's what we're getting. We're getting it. Pedersen in the car. Paul Pedersen. So he's he was second at the last round. Him in the Fillmore car, who's jumped up to a 55, and we're going to guess it's Fillmore in the car with a 55. Co-driver light on that one, so we think that he is the co-driver. Knighton, Brooks, Smith, well no, we're saying it's riding actually, 888. We're giving riding credit, but 56.1, Bill, good work, Bill, good work, Bill. Or Steve, or sorry guys, it's hard here when we don't have some of it, but we'll have it all ready for the race. We're getting all the decorations, because whoever qualifies, they've got to declare it and then go start the race. So we're going to get a nice list and know that at that time. So sorry for a bit of misinformation. You're here with the Carter's Tyre Service, I Hire, Invercargill Hire, and the Pits Media, the great guys there, Michelin too. But we're running through the time here. 7 minutes gone, so we're halfway through. Another 7 minutes to go, and we will wrap that up. These guys are warming into it as they come through. The McLaren there with right behind the Mercedes-Benz as they work their way through and up to the Brickyard. It is looking there, but that has been the quick car so far. Sam Fillmore, 55.0. Last year, huge battle. He won the round here with amazing last couple of lap battle. I think it was about 10 laps where Reed and who was the other? Gaunt just fought tooth and nail to end it. Fastest lap after fastest lap, like reset the lap record like 5 times in the last 15 laps between the two of them. And then run out of gas to change the result right on the last lap. What a race! And then the car limping on starter motor to get it back because it had no fuel. So, what a race! That's what we hope to see again. I doubt that you will ever see another race quite like that. But that's the action they put on here. This track does breed action. As I said, watch that turn one. We've seen the Wolfbrook car here. Looks sharp. That's a new car to them this year. I believe that's the old Neil Foster car that they've taken over now. So it's a slightly different spec than the one you're seeing on screen. One sort of spec different, but it's a very fast and good car there. Getting another update here. We've got Grant Moore in the car.
Grant Moore, and as opposed to his son, Matt Moore, who must be the faster one. He's putting down a 1:13, so he'll be looking to get...
I will say with Grant, though, is it fitness, though? Is it, you know, he will not want me to say that he is faster, his son is faster, but he will say that he'd like the shorter stint.
Possibly,
yeah.
That could be it.
He'll feel better about that.
Yeah.
He won't say his son's faster, because I'm a dad. You don't want to say that. But fitness-wise, you know, let the young bloke have a bit longer run. You know, nice dad. But out front, still Fillmore with the 55.0 as his quick lap. Sort of just looking for a good lap. He's seeming to, caught that Moore car there that we're talking about, the experienced runner there in it. And, as an experienced runner myself, you run the shorter stint, look fresher at the aftermatch.
That's it. So he's given himself a bit of a gap between Pedersen's, so he can coming onto a hot lap now, I reckon.
It's all about shooting. We're coming up to the last corner. He looks like he's going slow there, but what you're wanting to do is set up this last corner, drive down the straight, and that's how you're going to set a fast lap here. It's probably, we found in the 86 and in the Mini, a good run down into 1 was half a second. Like, if you wheel spin out of that last corner versus not, it's half a second from the start line through to 1. And that's big differences in this field, because right now there's only 0.4 between Fillmore and Knighton has moved up with a 55.4 in the Mag and Turbo car you're seeing on screen there. That Mag and Turbo car is on a lap. He was second quickest there with a 55.4. Beautiful looking Mercedes-Benz there. 2 AMs as well, right?
Yep, that's an AM car.
So that's our AM class leaders right now in this, with Brooks riding there in third. That's the second of the AMs. Then the Pedersen car, Paul Pedersen is the AM, and he's in fourth. Drop down though with Glenn Smith there, another one of our AM competitors. This AM class is hot here, isn't it?
It is hot.
It is hot there with second running. There's a second between 5 cars there in that AM class there for second, and then not far off the leader in Fillmore. So all these drivers I can see sort of in the car are the AMs. Or AM, so our AMs. And look at that competition and how close it is, from a 55.0 down to 7th with a 57. So within 2 seconds there for those first 6 cars. We're in for a race here, aren't we, Andrew?
It's pretty tight at the top.
And that's the great thing of the AMs, and by this new rules of the starter having to qualify, it shows in this qualifying these AMs have to put out a lap, and it gives them a bit more competition because the AM guys are with them. And yeah, it's great innovation by the series in the class. Yeah, and the guys that they're qualifying against now is the guys that they'll be racing at the start of the race, so they know who's fastest, who's going to be going where. You don't have a fast driver that's jumping in a bad spot on the, you know what I mean, or a really slow driver now in the front of the field when he should have been 8th. It's a good safety measure as well. So done for safety, but it's also created a bit of excitement for us up here in the commentary, and you live on Pits TV through all those Facebook methods and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, great coverage. I watched a little bit of it last time out when I was in Thailand. You could watch it from there. So, yes, you can sit in a pool and watch the Pits media. I hope you are enjoying it somewhere in the world and somewhere nice and warm. We are currently, I think, at 9 degrees here at sunny Invercargill. Yeah, it's good to get a look in at sunny Invercargill from anywhere in the world. Nothing like home. There's that Mag Turbo car. He's got traffic here. He's either going to, I think he must, he's backed out. I thought he must be trying to finish a lap there. But he's had to drop out of it now. It's a GT3, the Malmazet car. That's a new one for this year, isn't it? That's the GT3R spec. That's right. Yep. So that's a full GT3. And the other classes, they run a cup-type car as they all get bogged in behind the slower car there. And there's that lap gone to the bin. Oh, that is totally gone for everybody. Sort of like to see a driver like that who is coming out of it. Glenn Smith probably should have gone to the outside. I know you're going to pick up a bit of rubber and stuff like that, but really if you come off your lap like that, you really want to run around the outside through turn 1. Let the guys have a lap behind you. They'll just tuck it in the inside and go. Especially with these really short qualifying windows. Yeah, and a tyre window too, right? Like once you warm up that tyre, you got to go through a process to get it cleaned again and go. So, yeah, Glenn should have probably looked a bit better. They're third currently though. He has hit a lap, and these boys are all close here, so it's a good battle between them.
I think Hayden will be on a hot lap now, and he's got clear track ahead of him, so
absolute
he'll be
clear
looking
track
to
for
get that
Hayden.
P1.
And into the pits goes. Yeah, into the pits he goes. So yeah, should have run the outside there.
I wonder if he's got a problem because he seems to be going awfully slow.
Or maybe two. So sorry, if Glenn, for that. If you are running you have had a problem, I'll give you some benefit of the doubt there. Good call there. On screen we're seeing the Mark car there, but Fillmore's still quickest, followed by Knight and Smith, Malmazak, Mana I think in the car, Brooks, Pedersen, Dippy, Rhodes, O'Donnell, Spratt, Barrett, or West. No, it was Bree Morris in the car there, Rogers and Moore. So that's our field, 14 cars this week. And Sam Fillmore still in the front there. Let's see what Knighton does on this lap, though, because he is trying hard there. That's the other Mercedes there of Pedersen. Is across the line they go with the checkered flag, and Knighton comes across the line with a 55.3. Does go quicker, but still not quick enough to take the spot.
Sam Fillmore's looking good for P1.
Yeah, I think that one here. No, this car across the line now. This will be the last one. I think we can do it. Pedersen could pop up. Where does Pedersen get? Paul Pedersen, can he get faster? No, he looks like, no, he's 56.6 on that lap, so just 2 tenths slower than his fastest lap. I think that's most of our fastest runners. Oh, here's the Wolfbrook car across the line too. Can he jump up from a 56.1? Gets through that last corner, gets on the gas and gets out. Nope, pulling in there, didn't really. Across the line comes our GT4 runner, Rogers. Oh, Andrew Waits, we've just been informed for the 3 hour. His getting into that Brooks car, we've moved from AM to definitely Pro-Am with Mr. Waite in the car. Waitey's a good driver, been driving many different things and been driver coaching the guy. So don't know if they, had a lot of work to try and do the 1 hour and everything else like that. So to do the 3 hour might have just been a bit too much. So, that's going to change the complexion totally of this race, really, with another pro and as good as Andrew Waite. That's going to be a great little battle there. So we've been saying Steve Brooks all the time. It sounds like Bill Riding is out of the car, so it was Brooks who's done all this work and done well. So sorry, Bill, we were trying to give you some credit, mate.
He might have been in the Porsche earlier.
Oh, no, he could well have been in the Porsche earlier. And, yeah, I don't think that time's a weighty time, though. That I do think that is a, Steve, sorry, mate, but, yep, weighty is a pro. So bit of excitement here. We're just going to get the track cleared and then we're going to start getting ready for our first of our races.
Oh, we're on.
Oh, racing. So we've had a worldwide success, with last weekend was a pretty good weekend for New Zealand motorsport. Brendan Leach from down here seeing his dad, and he won in the Lamborghini in the 4th and doing really well in the championship
so
over there.
He's leading the championship now?
Yep. Callum Hedge won the Porsche shootout. Ryan, and he's a guy who ran here as well. So we're running through people who've done South Island Endurance Series at times.
Yeah.
So Callum Hedge won the Michelin shootout for Australia. So
he's been invited over to Europe?
Yep, so he's over to Europe. So he's won that championship. Ryan Wood kicking goals, winning races. I think he's third in the championship because he did have a bad first round, but won the most races in the championship and announced walking tour.
And he's in the main game next year?
Yeah, so all these drivers have had, and Lawson, I did a national championship round, I know, in a GT3 car. Came down to the South Island, did one at Highlands a few years back. So all of these guys that you're watching on TV, they've come and had races here before they're sort of these TV stars. So it's quite amazing. And obviously we had like Van Gisbergen running at the last round, so he's done a few things as well, but I'm probably not building his name here so much as the other way around. But
there'd only be a few superstar Kiwis that haven't come through South Island Endurance Series or haven't made an appearance down here.
Yeah, and that's awesome, and that's what you're seeing here live on Pits TV is some of the future. Definitely, that's
that is probably what the DeVeth problem was. Something fell out of that McLaren.
That's yeah. Sorry for being. Yeah, you can stay on the line when something falls out of your car. Yeah, different. There they all are. There's the replay of them all trying to just get track position. That was the biggest thing. As Knighton just sloops by, and then he went and got that track position. He really pushed hard. Paul Pedersen on screen there. So all AMs were in there. So all AMs going to start this race as Pedersen was pushing hard. His son Ant has supercar pedigree, and another one of the quality drivers, and ex-V8 supercar driver out there running in that Mercedes. So that's the sort of level you get it to at one of these events. It's amazing what comes through New Zealand motorsport, where they start, and sometimes who the ones that make it are, because it's incredible. Some of these guys you see and you don't think anything of, and then you see them overseas just kicking goals, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's bloody good to see.
So we've got a couple of minutes. We'll put you some lovely music, and we'll wait for this race to get onto the grid. So it's live on Pits TV, thanks to Carter's Tyres, Mobil 1, Allied Petroleum, Michelin, and Scaftech there. So thanks a lot, guys, and we'll be back for the first of our Class 4 and 5 1 hours. Thanks, Andrew, for the commentary, getting me through these qualifying sessions with a bit of knowledge. It's been great.
Scaftech Solutions are your scaffolding experts in the Invercargill and Greater Southern region that offer more than just scaffolding. From ring lock and tube and clip access scaffolding through to shrink wrapping, safety nets and temporary site fencing, Scaftech Solutions have it all. Backed by a team of experts that can put it all together for you, Scaftech Solutions will make it easy. Call them today on 0800 777 444. That's 0800 777 444 and talk to one of the team. Scaftech Solutions, it's within your reach.
Join me on a nationwide refuel roadie as I discover how Allied Petroleum keeps business moving. G'day, I'm Greg Murphy and welcome to the Allied Petroleum Refuel Roadie. Now, when looking for a place to start the Allied Petroleum Refuel Roadie, it was pretty obvious. Head down to the deep south and come to Gore, and Allied's brand new fueling station. Perfect location for you to operate all your fleet.
Yeah, perfect, Greg, and welcome to Gore.
Thank you.
So we run a fleet of 30 trucks here out of Eastern Southland and Gore here, servicing the farming district.
You guys are the one-stop shop for all the farmers locally around here. Man, you've got your fingers in every single pie.
Yep, so livestock's one of the things we do, but also fertiliser spreading, general bulk cartage, and obviously farming sector, it's a 24/7 business. Yep. So we need to make sure we've got fuel to rely on, and that's one thing that Allied Petroleum give us. Yep,
the fleet card works pretty good then, eh?
Yeah, perfect. It's great.
Mate, great to catch up. I'm actually a bit of a fan of your HRT logo. I used to actually work for a team that was called HRT, a little bit different in its meaning. But hey, great to meet you. I'm now off to go and hit the quarry up the road at Winton.
Heading up with Oz.
Wish me luck.
No, good luck.
Thanks, mate. Next on Refuel Roadie.
Greg, how you going?
Hell of a setup you got here, mate. That's awesome.
Tread true. It's what we are and what we do. Keep Kiwi business moving. Keep you and your drivers safe. Go the extra kilometre without cutting corners. Think smarter to save you money on every tyre in your fleet, so you always know what's what and when. Carter's Tyres. Whatever you do, tread true.
Build it, make it, fix it, shift it, tow it, stow it, dig it, lift it, mow it, trim it, grind it, chip it. We hire it. Mix it, pour it, smooth it, finish it, saw it, plane it, nail it, polish it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it.
The coolest thing about these tyres is it just combines every part of Michelin that they've brought to the table over the years. So you've got the performance, the reliability, every single part of that is now connected. As a general everyday driving tyre, there's no road noise, and then you've got the velvet touch feel when you get outside the car. So it matches literally every perspective that a driver and someone who's passionate about the road would want.
welcome to the pits here at Teretonga for the Carter's Tyres South Island Endurance Series. I'm Stefan, and I'll be bringing you all the up-to-date pit action here today for the 2 1 hours and the 3 hour that's coming up a little later on. We've got Phil Hill here, who your car is currently set up a little differently to the way that the rest of these Porsches are here in Invercargill today.
Yeah, it's just our 3-hour car, the GT3R Porsche, number 908. We've sort of taken a little bit of a different approach to a lot of the other GT3 teams, whereas, you know, in New Zealand there aren't a huge amount of rules. The cars can be de-restricted and run different tyre pressures, etc. We've got a bit more freedom here. We've sort of hampered ourselves a wee bit because we've got a longer term plan to go and run at Bathurst. Those overseas events, you have to run certain size restrictors, you have to run minimum ride heights, you have to run minimum tyre pressures and things. So we're using really the series as a bit of a testing ground to, you know, get a car spot on for that. So, you know, hey, we lose a little bit in the straight line and things. We're a little bit down on power compared to some of the GT3 cars. But it's up to the drivers to make that up in the corners and the brakes.
So that's as hard as it could be in a straight line. I mean, still around the corners and everything, you've still got that speed like the other cars, so you're not really missing out too much, are you? And is there a massive difference in the speed at the end of the straight with you and these other cars?
Yeah, and you'll probably see it, the spectators will see it on the live stream as well, you know. Like we've got to run a 44mm restrictor, that's what we have to run at Bathurst in February, so that's what's in the car. If we pulled that out, there's noticeable horsepower to be gained. But for us, there's no point in flattering the drivers. We've got to make them work with what they've actually got to do at the big game, you know.
So the drivers that you got with you today, Jono Lester and Mal Mazak?
Martin Malmazak, yep. Unfortunately, Francois Bezak, we normally run 3 drivers, which again is a little bit of a handicap. But we need to get all those guys seat time in the car.
So all of these guys will be travelling to Bathurst with you in that car?
That's it, yeah, for sure. Except unfortunately Francois is sick today, so we're down to 2, which gets us saves us a pit stop there. So, hey, we'll take that.
Bit of straight line speed, anything's a bit of a gain for you guys, hey. But we will leave you to it, mate. We'll let you go back to the car. We're about to get underway for this first 1 hour. Best of luck for the 3 hour race a little later on.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Prime Motorsport there, the head of Prime Motorsport there, giving us a rundown, and unfortunately another sickness. So a couple of sicknesses going around there with Francois. Yeah, a little bit of running around, but that's going to actually spice up that race too. Just only having 1 AM in that car with the pro. Andrew Waite also will be announced. But let's run through the grid here. We've got in front of us for class 4 and 5 rolling starts. We've got, so they do a couple of warm-up laps, get the tyre temperature up and stuff. Looks like a 2K Cup car coming out there. What a great variance of cars and things here. And Reece Gold coming out there. He's our current pole man, with Scott O'Donnell in second, local man here with a 101. He'll be happy with that. Barry Moore in third. Pala Onat, who'd done well at round 1. Mike Hall in 5th. Russell McKenzie there in 6th. So some good battles coming through with the TCR cars. Then you got Chris Hall, who's that first of the Honda runners. And then Jacob Garger is also a good runner here, who's done a lot of stuff in the Lotus out of the Sangyongs last year. Will Taylor, Matthew O'Donnell, no relation at all, James Mitchell, and Sam Wallace and Harry Judd. That's one of our 2-car teams. As into the box, we've got a pro to actually take over from me and actually make it a good. But we'll keep on running through that. Dylan Peach after a little whoopsie there in 15th place. Dave McLean in 16th. Bradley Dawson in 17th. Donovan Isted in 18th. Brent Sullivan, Eaton Hodgson. That car will move up from there. That's something's happened in qualifying for them to be that low. Reece Turner there in 20th. Mark Meadows in the Lotus in 21st. Steve Parker, Saxon Shen in the first of the 86s. Brooklyn Horan there. He's Brooklyn, a young, very, very young racer that's doing well. Mark Denton, Jordan Wallace in the 86. Mark, another 2 driver teams with Art Marcus, Jamie Duff. Nico Scholes, Max Wilson, and Jamie Wilson, and Paul Martin there at the back of the grid. And welcome to Southland, our lead commentator today, taking over from me, so you don't have to listen so much, is Mr. Stephen McIver. Welcome.
Morning, everybody. Just jumped off the Air New Zealand prop-driven ATR and straight to the string. Morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Good. He has literally just walked in, made it for the race.
No, looking forward to the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series here. It should be an absolute cracker. And as Scott O'Donnell had said to me, the water goes away in the sand, and it certainly has, and we're good to go for this Class 4 and 5 1-hour race. See on pole Reese Gould.
Yeah, we're waiting for our 2 from the front row to come. They were late cars out. Is there's Mr. O'Donnell coming late? Has he made it in time, or is he going to have to start from pit lane? Oh, we've got a pit lane starter. He has missed the start.
Not a good start, but we'll just wait and see how that one goes.
The HWR hydrogen car starting from pit lane. He has missed the start. We will have a good discussion about that tomorrow at the board meeting about making the start time as important.
Here comes your pole sitter, Reese Gould, in the Signature Homes.
So he's by himself in the front row because it was meant to be O'Donnell there in second. So he's going to have an easy start there as up comes Barry Moore there in third in that little VW. So TCRs dominate the front of this field, and then we sort of go to the home builts further down 9th, 10th sort of area is where they start with Chris Hall. So 2 different classes here. You sort of have your TCR class and then your home built sort of class. For the different classes, there's BMW coming up. That's a good looking car, isn't it? Like that BMW.
So,
E46 sort of. Like my car.
Mobil One chase car just sitting there.
Yeah, Mobil One of the series sponsored with Allied 24/7 Gas. Great series sponsors, and Carter's Tyres, of course. There's that Signature Homes pole sitter off the line they go. We'll have a warm-up lap and then a rolling start for this, so they'll all form up close and it'll be a very close battle down to turn 1.
Nothing like a good rolling start here at Teretonga Park Raceway. 8 turns, about 2.4 kilometres long, and one of the great tracks, one of the historically great tracks here in New Zealand. And you can certainly get some cracking racing, particularly coming through Castrol and then out through the S's. So there's a lot to be look forward to over this next hour. Big day for us too, with a 3-hour a little bit later on.
Yeah, that last year, as we've been talking about before, was one of the cracker races of the year, the battle to the end. And with that new announcement of Waite being into the car, in the riding car, he's taken over from Bill Riding. That's 2 pros. That's another pro and a very nice GT3 car. So that is going to be interesting with Mr. Waite joining the field. But this is the race we're talking about. Now, the first thing we're going to see is turn 1. Now, I'm going to say, even on the first lap, 2 wide through turn 1 here at Teretonga is exciting.
I love the ability when they come through the Castrol here, because it is a passing option if you're brave to go on the inside rather than the outside and set yourself up.
Well, and as the other guy, if the guy dives you on the inside exit here, you can have a little crisscross into that next session, because it does flow into the left-hander. And if you've stuffed up the first one, the second one becomes very hard. So some nice 2 flow corners we go through, and then up into a very hard braking zone. Another one of our passing opportunities right there.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience about stuffing it up there, Mark.
I've stuffed up many places. If there's a corner in New Zealand I have not missed the apex, I am very keen to find it. But I think I've missed every apex in New Zealand at some stage.
So the Mobil One pace car has getting formation up, and it is out. So we're good to go and ready for the start of this 2023 South Island Endurance Series 1-hour race, classes 4 and 5. They come down to the bottom and head onto the pit straight and get ready to roll. Reese Gould on pole position. Scott O'Donnell will have to start from pit lane. A second row, Barry Moore and Pearl Armit. Lights are still red, waiting for them to go green. Green and racing in the 1-hour race, classes 4 and 5, and straight away Gould is on the hammer heading towards turn 1.
Who's going to make the move to the outside as the battles already start? This is a hard time. Cold tyres as O'Donnell now comes out of pit lane, and he's got dead cold tyres. No warm-up at all, and it's going to be horrible in that car, because it's, we've got a spinner there at 1 and off it in. We try and pick up who that is. It looks like a Mazda, I think, off mid backpack runner. We'll try and pick that up, but that's going to probably be a safety car unless he can get it running. It looks pretty deep in the sand there as our leaders get going.
So coming through Castrol for the first time, the majority of the field led by Reese Gould, making their way throughout to the back of the field. And it's Sam Wallace, Harry Judd in the 12 car that's beached in the sand. And that's a little Mazda there, so that could bring out the safety car. Yeah,
you can't get that running, and that looks deep. Yellow flags out, safety car. Boards and flags will come out.
Well, you did mention saying the potential to go through turn 1. There would be a tiny bit of carnage in the safety car, the Mobil One safety car, back out, and Not even one lap completed, and with a little bit of carnage here at Teretonga.
Well, I sort of know that because you actually, I think, were commentating me down here at Christmas when I decided to spin it at lap 1, turn 1. So
you have a tendency to enjoy the spin.
The pedigree, I've got pedigree at that with cold tyres. So I spoke from experience, not good experience. But this will help O'Donnell. Now he gets to catch up to the field, start on the back, and we'll have some warmer tyres. So he should be doing better. But big mistake from him being late to the start grid, and that's going to hurt all race. Looks like that's Sullivan. We're going to get the replay of the start as they go.
So just keep your eye on the 12 car as they come into the first turn. As there lock up, just a simple old lock up, little spin into the kitty litter, and that's that done at this particular point in time as we see the recovery vehicle pull her out of the dirt.
The Macaulay Ford there, Wild Track, that thing pulls anything out of the dirt, trust me. I asked, was there going to be any problems with getting stuff out of it? And they've got a beautiful high ab here from Winton Grains that couldn't get anything. And then they said these Fords will take anything else out that can't come out. So we'll see with the four-wheel drive action in play.
So yellow flag out in the opening stages. I mean, we mean the opening stages of this 1 hour here at Teretonga Park Raceway, classes 4 and 5. Reschooled on pole and sitting there.
At a pit lane, there comes Dylan Petch. I don't know if he missed the start or what. We'll have to have a look at where he is on the field. But Dylan Petch just came out of the pit lane. So those two Hyundais having problems.
So the 51 car, Dylan Petch, coming out, was actually speaking to his father earlier this week, and they're pretty excited about putting him in a little TCR to have a crack. We know he's very quick in the Formula Fords
yes,
and the likes, so we'll just have to see where that stacks up at the moment. So at the moment, just early days, reschooled ahead of Pell Ellett, Barrymore, Mike Hall, and it rolls down. So
really 3 corners of racing so far. So we very much are early in it. So we will see those safety car lights come off soon because we look like that car is underway now. So this should be the last lap under safety car. We are up to 8.9 degrees here in sunny Invercargill.
Well, it must have been colder in Christchurch because I walked off the gangway, as it were, and I was breathing cold air. I thought, cripes, I didn't know it was that cold. You warned me that it would be cold, but it was a hell of a lot colder in Christchurch. But we're here in sunny Southland. And wherever you are in Southland watching this, we trust you haven't been too affected by the rain in the last 48 hours.
They're not necessarily in Southland. I mean, the first round I watched from a pool in Thailand, and it was delightful, I will say. Clint Brown, 5 hours of Clint Brown was good fun.
So some have it all the luck, right? Well, I've come from 34 degrees in Spain from the America's Cup preliminary regatta, and this is a slight shock to the system.
Well, I'm Singapore Grand Prix last weekend.
Okay, let's just throw it and make everybody sick in their stomachs is what we've been up to.
But the truth is, you can watch it from anywhere, and we've got people around the world watching this, and that's the great thing about Pits TV here. Thanks to the team at Pits Media, they put it out, and you get to watch it anywhere in the world. I got to watch my son race, so I could feel good and safe and know that he was racing, and enjoy the time with my wife away from him was fantastic. So it's great that the Pits Media lets you do that and still see it.
All I can say I was sitting in Spain watching the Warriors up the Waz.
Up the Waz. Yes.
Up against the Brisbane Broncos tonight as the safety car takes the field around.
Here we go. Well, yellow flag. We're just getting here as we go. This is going to be, the lights are out.
Lights are out, safety car, the Mobile One safety car heading back, and we'll restart this one. Reese Gold sitting in the pole position, ahead of Pell Arnott, Barrymore and Mike Hall. As they approach the front straight, the yellow light's still on. It'll go green and we are back racing. Waiting for the lights to go green. Now onto the front straight here at Teretonga Park Raceway. One of the great front straights too. We can really hit the gas. Still on green, yellow. Waiting, and green lights are go. So we are back racing.
Barrymore looking to the inside there. Looks like he touched the grass or something nearly and drops him back as here comes Black with a big move. 3 wide.
Run up the inside by Warren Black in the 93 car as they head into turn 1.
2 wide through there. That's brave on the outside there on a cold tyre as they make their moves as they come through the last.
Big moves by Scott O'Donnell already. He's passed about 5 cars. Remember, he came from pit lane, going through pit 1 now. So he is, and that HWR hydrogen car is on fire early and going to weave his way through the field. He's coming out into turn 2 now and heading towards the Castrol.
2 wide round there. Go, Scott, go. He was late for the meeting and he is making sure he's getting there. But further up the field, we've got these lead pack.
Reschooled, Arnott, Moore and Hall as they come to complete another lap. A long way to go. Remember, they have a compulsory pit stop at around the 20 to 40 minute mark. They're all going to take that pit stop, regardless, 45 seconds, and then move on. Doesn't matter if they've got a driver change or whatever, they have to make the compulsory pit stop. And that's where endurance racing gets fun and makes it even a little bit harder for us to figure out where everybody is.
Yes, it definitely does, but there is O'Donnell making his moves past the Meadows car, and he's moving up the grid quickly because that was about 20th. So he's made 10 spots already on this first lap as he comes down the straight and starts peeling through 86s now. That's Young Horan and then Saxton Sheehan. Also now he's just gone past us that number 200 car. He's got his bit between the teeth as he looks to the inside down the end of the front straight and made another move as he is just pulling through cars here from the back of the pack. He has already moved up into the top 15. I think about now he's about 15th. So we'll get the update on that on the next lap because he's passed 3 cars already on this lap. He is definitely running late for this meeting.
Our fastest lap put on by Pal Arnott already at 104 as we see Scott O'Donnell on the HWR hydrogen car just working his way through the field, and the field now really starting to spread itself out as they come on to complete another lap. Going out the back of the field, that's through turns 5 and 6, and then coming down through turn 7, which will get him back onto the main straight.
So he's starting to get now to a bit quicker runners, so it's going to be a bit harder for him to start moving through once he starts hitting the TC other cars. But the battle at the front is absolutely raging as Gould has got him Arnott right on his tailpipe.
Well, the big mover is 93 car, and Warren Black started P8, now sitting P3, so he's on the hammer and right up Arnott's tailpipe. So just keep your eye on the movements of Warren Black there as they come up towards Castrol.
He's looking to the inside as Arnott. Oh, that's defensive there. Gould's back playing defence already, and that's backing up the pack behind him. We've already got 6, 7 runners still staying there with young Jacob Gardner doing a great job there in 6th place in that little Lotus.
Really encouraging to see plenty of fans out here at Teretonga Park Raceway for the second round of the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series, and good strong fields too in classes 4 and 5. And I know it gets even better in classes 2 and 3, the 1 hour of that after this one as well. So heading onto the front straight, it's still Reschooled leading from Arnott to Black, Hall, Moore and Gajaja. And that's your top 6 as they complete another lap and a long way to go.
Gould at the front here. There is a battle here. He's sort of starting to try. He's defending still, so that is going to affect lap time and keep these other runners close. Warren Black there in the draft and able to sit there. The thing that you will find with the aero dependence of these cars is it will start burning out front. Oh, he's touching the grass there, trying to make the move as Pal Arnott. As a real battle raging here, Stephen, for the front of this grid.
So, but nothing phasing Reschooled at the front. Everybody else just going to chew up their tyres, and he'll just sit back and let them do all the damage to themselves. Arnott, then Black, followed by Hall. Best time by Gould at the moment of 1:02.057, so that's very, very quick indeed going around Teretonga Park Raceway.
They qualified around the minute sort of mark, so 1:01 was sort of the fastest lap in qualifying. So the race pace is pretty hot here to be with the 2. But O'Donnell now up to 11th place. I think he's just made 10th actually doing his namesake with Matthew O'Donnell getting past. So as they run through, and the other one coming through is that Sullivan Hodgson car. Eaton, a really good runner, and that car's been moving up.
So just look how well Pal Arnott's driving that little car. Lap 6 or 1:02.08, so he's on form. But again, Reschooled putting in the fastest lap. It's a 1:02.057. So they're on pace. Can they maintain that pace for the full 60 minutes as they come through?
Well, that's quicker than his qualifying, so can he maintain that pace? That is 100% right when you're quicker than qualifying. We're into back markers already.
That's 991, Max Wilson and Jamie Wilson just stuck there at the back at the moment, getting it lapped. We were always going to see that, as you call them, the hone builds at the back in classes 4 and 5. And that's the interesting part of 1 hour racing, when you've got quicker cars, then you have to deal with the back markers and you've got pressure behind you.
Yeah, and it's hard to be a back marker as well, to be honest with you. I've been out there and running the slower cars, and you're watching your mirror half the time and trying to not make a mistake and not get in people's way and affect the race. So it's both sides of it are trying to do the whole thing.
But that's the good thing about this style of racing, particularly endurance racing in this class, is if you want to learn the game and you understand that, you've got a young son, Thomas, who's going to, with Race Lab and the new 86 series.
He was down, did the first round in the 3 hour.
Right, and so you've got to get miles in the seat and just keep on rolling, right, because you learn the nuance of endurance racing, but also the nuance of driving a race car.
Well, the basic thing of most skill elements. 10,000 hours they talk about, and 10,000 hours is what they say to become a master of any sort of activity and getting race miles.
How many hours do you think you've put in?
I'd hate to think.
Do you think you've done your 10,000 hours?
I'm probably on the decrease. I've probably gone past it. Now I'm on the downward stroll. If you think of what an hour of racing costs you, I do not want to admit on live air where I've got to.
No change to the top three in this round over this classic 4 and 5. Reece Gould still putting it in the fastest lap. He's 0.518 ahead of Arnott and Black. So that top three sitting comfortably at this point as they continue to follow the back markers. And it's settled into somewhat of rhythm. In fact, you'd suggest as they head towards turn one, Gould's just actually pulled up a slight lead.
Yeah, that's he has got a bit of a lead through these back markers, and that's behind the Jordan Wallace 86, and Jordan's doing her race too. She's got to sit on the line and do it, and she's doing well there to be in front of Brooklyn Horan there in that 86. Jordan been first sort of rounds, last round in the 86. She did Sanyong Utes last year and done a couple of other things, supported by Dale ITM and doing a great job, and really working with Saxon Sheehan to learn how to drive, and then Brooklyn Horan behind in the other 86.
So let's just take a look at Scott O'Donnell, who had to start from pit lane, and he's suddenly in P8. He's a minute and two behind. Sorry, those are the laps. My apologies. That's the last lap. He put down a 1:02, but he's certainly moved up into P8, and that's the important thing, that he has got some pace in that HWR hydrogen car. Sitting...
We haven't...
Well, actually, I've got him...
There's the battle. There's changeover for second and third right now. Let's see as they come across the line. Yeah, Black's made it to second, Arnott's in third now. That's the changeover for position there. So that's second and third changed around. Maybe Arnott had used up that tyre or just got sick of being right behind Gould there and decided he needed to have a little rest and bring it back a bit, because this is an endurance race.
You can answer the question for me. Can you get into dirty air in these little TCRs?
Yep, definitely. And then that's just burning out that front tyre. So if they are running a Michelin hard, then they've probably got enough tyre to last. But definitely, if you're running a good Michelin, you can. But it is a good battle there going on with Arnott up there. And still the runner of O'Donnell coming through in 8th there. He's got the fastest lap of the race.
So currently Gould, Black, Arnott having dropped back into P3, having been overtaken by Warren Black in the Audi RS3 TCR. So there's Warren Black doing the job and hunting down Reece Gould, but Reece Gould really has on a flyer now, 2.7 seconds ahead of Warren Black. So he's just settled into his rhythm.
So it looks like it moved with Arnott. We might get a replay. We'll try and see, but moved through Castrol, got too far sideways. That's what we talked. It's one of those corners that if you do struggle on, can affect the next few and means you have some problems. But they're just moving through back markers here. Whole lot of back markers to get through. Let's see the Meadows car there coming through, and there's the Dale ITM car of Saxon Sheehan. He ran the whole year last year in the national championship.
Yep.
Just was in the pits talking to him. He's trying to get some sponsorship together. So young guy that's from down this way, and so really good to see him out here getting those miles in, but looking for some support. So always well presented car there, and good to see him out there and getting these miles in.
So Arnott being held up by some back markers.
Mark Meadows there in the Lotus. I think Mark's been running for many years in that, and a former Class 5 winner in the little 2-litre Lotus there as they come down the straight. It's hard, you can't go 3 wide down there, so you get caught up with the 86, and then the 5th place car of Hall there gets caught behind as there's a pass. Difference in speed is just incredible with these different cars, with over 10 seconds a lap difference between the front and back runners. And we see some lights flashing there as they try and make their way through these back runners. Jacob Gaja there in 6th is doing a great job, but let's have a look at Black. He's trying to get past the RX-8 there. That's the one that I think they had the problem earlier in the running. Yes, it is. It's the one that had the earlier running. We'll get you some class results as we get going in a second. But Reece Gould, Warren Blake in second, Paolo Knott in third, then Michael.
So, opening race of the weekend here for the South Island Endurance Series at the Carter's Tyre Service Endurance Series here in the South Island. Good first weekend in Ruapuna and Christchurch. I think it's called Europark Raceway now. And
Euromarquee.
Euromarque. Are you sure it's Euromarque? Just Euromarque.
Could be right.
M-A-R-Q-U-E, Euromarque.
Euromarque, there you
Wow.
go. Well, I read the program, sorry.
Good French, mate. Really good French to start off with.
My French. I did do French class. I don't know if I actually paid attention, but I was there in third form. Year 9, I think that's called nowadays, for those younger people who go, third form? What are you talking about, that old fart?
Reschool leading this opening 1 hour race here at Teretonga, and doing it in style too. He's sitting 2.6 seconds ahead of Warren Black and Arnott, the top three that have settled themselves down.
Mike Hall there at 6.8 seconds down, so not too far back off Anand. It looks like he might have hit his... Oh, he's locked up and gone straight ahead there as Scott O'Donnell and into the puddle.
Into the wet, just like that. Now,
just touched the barrier too. He'll be looking for reverse right now.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to be really careful here because there's so much water there that getting out of there, you could almost dig yourself a wee hole, depending on how much water and what the surface is like there. But it was a nice little skate through the water. I mean, he was flying through the field.
I'll be trying to get a little photo of that splash that he did there. He belly flopped into the pool there, and I think that's going to cause us a safety car unless he can get it moving.
So no signs of a safety car at the moment.
What time are we into the race? Can we have a pit stop? Yet we've just lost our timing screen next to us right at the time we want to tell you how long's in the race, but... So 17 minutes in. So if there is a safety car now, that will cause it during the window. So you're going to see a flurry of pit stops if we get a safety car, because it will take a couple of laps. But can we see if O'Donnell's got out? Can't see him on the track, and we're looking for it. Yep, safety car's out. Safety car boards and flags are out. He cannot get out. There we go. We've got our screen back now, and O'Donnell there is. O'Donnell's there.
Safety car out, and there's the HWR Hydrogen TCR parked. Well, you could say beached, and quite appropriately beached, because it was like he came out of the water and into the sand, except he came into the grass here at the top part of the raceway, and he doesn't look like he's going too much further than that. So that's a real shame actually for Scott, because he was really starting to honk through the field after starting in pit lane. But hang on a minute.
He's finally found reverse. It's mode 6, push this button 3 times, and he's probably pushed it 82 times in a rage trying to get it there. And
that could
I do know Scott quite well. So, but HWR Hydrogen, actually, they talked to us about it last night, and it's an interesting Southland innovation to put hydrogen into diesel powered vehicles. He's trying to spin the wheels and try and get it going, but he can't. But he did get it to move there a second, but it is pretty slippery there for a slick tyre especially. We'll get a replay.
Here's the replay now. So he came in a little hot and then just locked it up and had nowhere to go and then went swimming. There's the first big splash. Tell you what, something to talk about because it makes good tally. And there's the second one and completely puddled out. And O'Donnell brings out the safety car, and you're pretty close. If we're heading towards that 20-minute mark, at the 20-minute mark, they can then start going to their compulsory pit stops, which are 45 seconds per car, regardless of whether or not you're changing and you're running 2 drivers at all. So
it's a small pit, tight pit lane here too. This is going to be very interesting to have all these cars on pit lane.
Well, the historical in and out is around 20 seconds, unless, of course, you're changing tyres. That changes. But because of these, they're just going in, stopping, and going on. So levels the field up a little again.
So these back runners are all... So now we have the control of the lead car behind it. Oh, we've got another car stopped there, another 60.
That's the 60 car of Art Marcus and his little Toyota started driving out of Wanaka. Oh, it brings back memories. Here it is again. Watch it again. Just came in a little hot, was looking on the inside line and just locked it up.
I think he was thinking he was going to get a pass and then didn't get to do it. As we go past the 20-minute mark, this is pit stops are going to start happening right in front of us now. We'll come away from this replay because the pit stops are about to get action-packed. I think you will see every car in the field should come in right now.
It was coming up and through turn 4 and heading towards turn 5 up the back of the track and just cooked it. He won't be happy about that. We know Scott's a competitor. And likes to be at the front of the field, but as we see, some of the cars
there they
now
all go in.
So cars cycling in for their compulsory pit stops now. Mark was saying before, it's a tight pits And you're getting it's like you almost want to go in there and say, can I parallel park? It's like being on a busy street. We'll just parallel park this one to get my...
Your restricted test parallel parking. And I'll say some of these things have no vision out of the rear, so it would be a nightmare, but anyway.
So the pits window is open. Just the one compulsory pit stop required by all of the field, and then they're back out. So...
Oh, there's our first one trying to squeeze out.
So some have made their pit stops and heading out. This will change the dynamic of the field, but that's what endurance racing is all about. That's the 14 car of Paul Martin and a Honda S2000, followed out by Mark Denton and a crowd of Christchurch on his BMW 321. Reece Gould too, along with Warren Black, have made their compulsory pit stops.
Next out's Barry Moore.
Barry Moore, followed out by Mike Hall in his Volkswagen Golf GTI. Then there's
Pal Arnott.
Now, when we see if he can resettle now, because probably had a lot of adrenaline rushing through that first 15 minutes and sitting in P2. I wonder, I mean, you've gone through the situation. Do you reset mentally in a pit stop situation when you only got one pit stop and it's a stop and go, basically?
At 45 seconds, you get to have a drink of water. Sometimes that can help you reset. The other thing is, you might over-pressured your tyres. You had everything at the start, you wore them out, and you just will bring some pressure out of your tyres, which will give you some freshness back, as we've got O'Donnell back in the pit lane now.
Yes, so the question remains now, he'll have lost laps. Does he stop and go and keep on moving? The crew just having a look at the front. He tapped the tyre barrier out around turn 5 as he slid into it. So it wasn't a major nudge into it at all, because he just slid in there. So it looks like quite simply that Scott will take his compulsory pit stop and get going again. That's what you want, right?
Yep, I think he might have lost a lap, but yeah, not too much of a penalty there for him.
You're watching the second round of the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series, brought to you by Allied 24/7, Michelin, and also, of course, Carter's Tyres Service. That's Michelin Motorsport, by the way, as cars start to weave and just put some heat back into their tyres behind the Mobil 1 pace car. So we've had 23 minutes, of this 1 hour race. We've had a bit to talk about already, Mark.
It's been a great first race so far. This is our second safety car period, and yeah, it's been action-packed at the front. Some great battles there at the start with Gould and Arnott, and I think we're going to see it again right now with Black right on the tail of Gould. So
still on yellow flag in this 1 hour endurance race. You'll notice that sitting in the third position, but will be leading the field, is Reece Gould in the number 5 Hyundai i30N TCR, a Class 4 car. This is Class 4 and 5 racing. And it's the sort of track that suits, for me, the TCR.
Front-wheel drive cars do go well here. They've got good aero, and they are very good in this class as well. And they're just a factory-built race car that's just... They sound good, look good, and go good. And yeah, definitely a track with the aero performance that these cars get do help you through that turn 1 fast stuff.
Mark Jensen in the 181 car just come out of the pits for the second time, so he must have had a little bit of bother in that little BMW 320i. So cars cycling around, waiting for the safety car lights to go out and get back racing. Second round. Just a reminder, Class 4 is 2 litres to 3.5 litres, and Class 5 is 0 to 2 litres.
So you've got a lot of your 86s, a lot of Hondas and stuff like that in that Class 5 sort of thing. And then, yeah, you've got your TCRs. Now, you'll be maybe wondering, why is that car at the front there? Why is the leader not at the front of it? What happens is, once you take the safety car, that takes whoever the leader will be to the front. If they pit at that stage, whoever stays on the track does stay behind the safety car. So if you stay out on the track, you don't get to get a lap back or anything like that. You just get to be at the front of the pack. But those two cars are quite a bit slow. So we'll see them rounded up by the first corner, by probably the first 4 or 5 TCR cars.
Yeah, they'll get chewed up and spat out.
So we've got 12 cars that haven't pitted, apparently.
12 cars?
Oh, 12's the only car not to pit, sorry.
12 cars out of Sam Wallace and Harry Judd, their Mazda RX-8. That was the car that went off at turn 1 at the opening laps.
And I will say there may be a split driver thing, so they do 30 minutes each no matter what. So they're waiting until the 30-minute mark to do that pit stop so everyone gets a fair share. Sometimes that's what happens in racing. We say we're doing 30 minutes each. Don't worry about the strategy. We're not trying to win. We're just trying to have a race.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the most important thing about getting time in the seat. So lap 19, heading towards the half-hour mark. We're almost at the halfway stage, and no one really has gone out there to challenge Reece Gould at the moment, apart from Wayne Black.
Well, it's all about the second half
Warren
of the
Black,
race.
excuse me, my apologies.
It's all about the second half of the race, and they've done the pit stop. They've got through. Car, is there another car off down in the loop that we?
Interview, please, with one of Scott O'Donnell's crew, Curtis Williams.
All right, let's go into pit side and see what some of Scott O'Donnell's crew are thinking about this.
All right, Curtis Williams. Looked like Scott put his bikini on and went for a bit of a swim over the back straight.
It was a bit of a mess, wasn't it?
What happened there, do you know?
Well, I think I just seen a replay. I didn't see it actually happen, but it looked like he sort of just went in a bit deep, locked the fronts up and just went straight ahead, then through 2 puddles.
Yeah, bit of a shame as he was coming through the field, eh?
Well, he was, yeah. We had a bad start and he was making it up, and I guess probably just trying too hard, you know.
Oh, a bit of a shame for Scott. Hopefully he can redeem himself and end on a high note.
He's still out there, so we'll cross fingers, eh?
I've seen that. Was there much damage to the car?
Oh, broken bumper, but that's about it. Splitter's okay, everything else looks all right. Lots of water inside, lots of fog though, so we'll see how he manages that.
Good luck for the rest of it, mate.
Curtis, one of the crew of Scott O'Donnell, talking about the fact that he's driving a mobile bucket at the moment, and what that one would suggest if he's talking lots of water inside, but only, everything's fine. It was a soft nudge, as you know, Mark, so it'll be good to go. So they're still running behind the safety car. Scott O'Donnell at the rear of the field.
We had a pickup there of that Starlet. That was, I think, the last thing we had to do was because Scott's out there, so I think the Starlet, we just had to get that picked up, and I think we're pretty much ready to go again. We're going to see the lights come off shortly.
So they'll complete this lap, one would suggest, and then we'll go racing again in this Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series Class 4 and 5 1-hour endurance race. Wherever you're watching this around the world, as Mark was the other day at the Singapore Grand Prix on Pits TV. We trust you're enjoying this and that the weather is comfortable and you're ready to go, because we've also got the classes 2 and 3, 1 hour, and then we've got the 3 hour, and that'll be something to look forward to see if Sam Fillmore and Johnny Reid, who are the defending South Island champions and also 3R champions, can do their thing again. Safety car has been released and we are good to go, and a restart as we head towards the half-hour mark here in Teretonga Raceway Park.
What's that hanging there on the back of the Magan Turbo car?
Magan Turbo car trailing a bit of... Oh, something's fallen off the car.
Oh, that's probably in the little spin he had in that first lap accident. So probably just a little bit of something off the toe strap or something it looks there. Or the exhaust pipe starting to drop down as they go green.
Green and go, and Reece Gould and Warren Black straight away round up the slower cars, and they are away, followed by Barry Moore and his Volkswagen Golf TCR. So no mucking around, and
Jacob Gardner doing some great moves here in the Lotus. He is pushing hard as one's off.
And once again, it's the number 12 car goes into the kitty. Have they managed to get it out? Yes, they have. Maybe they're just scared of that corner. Maybe that's got stuck in their mind.
Cold tire, Steve. Battle still at the front there, and there are battles throughout the pack. And Jacob Gardner in there, and then the Lotus is sitting there. He is putting pressure on these TCR cars. He's doing a great job.
So there's just a little bit of a rear bumper hanging off the back of the 12 car of Sam Wallace and Harry Judd. So that's nothing to be too worried about. A little fall off, or they get pulled in and say if it's too unsafe.
Well, they've got their pit stop to come anyway, so it'll just get pulled off at that, and that's coming up.
Correct. That is the only car as Reece Gould crosses the finish line ahead of Warren Black. The 2, 3, 4 TCRs leading the field. A little Lotus up on the outside, heading down towards turn 1. Angry little Buzzy B going around the outside.
Oh, come on, Jacob. That's a great... Oh, he's pulled out of it. That's a smart move from the young fellow. He's a young kid that is learning his craft, and that is good. As our leaders are up the front, Reece Gould and Warren Black, who's moved from 8th to 2nd right now, and they're battling through Castrol and out up to the graveyard. It's been a great battle here. Oh, another spinner. Got a spinner.
It's car 111. That's Matthew O'Donnell in his Audi RS3 LMS TCR. So, has he stalled it? No, he hasn't. Gets it going and away. So we won't get another safety car. I've already had 2 already in this 1 hour race. So back up and running. That's all you need to do, and keep on going.
Here comes Reece Gould down to the start-finish line to make another lap. As he's got Warren Black with the headlights ablaze behind him.
So Reece Gould, Warren Black, followed then by Barry Moore. So 3 TCRs at the front. Pal Arnott trying to go round the outside at turn 1.
Oh, he has. That's a big move. Big move from the outside there for third. So we watch the battle for the front there. It's a great battle going on between Warren Black and your race leader, Reese Gould.
So Pal Arnott picking up that third position with the move outside on turn 1. And Reese Gould just doing what he does well, just really comfortable. Looks really comfortable in the seat here today. Just in front of us, you won't see it, but the 12 car again coming out.
And he's lost that little bit on the back. So there's the Warren Black car. That lead sort of stretched about a half a second that last lap. Let's see what it is this lap as they come across the line. But that half second looks like it's more a second this lap type thing. They are pushing. He's pushing some better lap times out there. Still Warren Black quickest on the track.
Reese Gould laying down another quick time. He's 0.844 ahead of Warren Black, and as you can see, Pal Arnott now back into that P3 position, but a good 44 seconds behind. So they've really dragged out a lead on the rest of the field.
Yeah, they are. The field is chasing them there as we see TCRs, and then Jacob Garger there in 4th place. So that Warren Black car, he is staying still. He looks like he's caught up a little bit this lap on Reese Gould, so maybe he was just cooling a tyre, wanting to stay out of the aero wash, so a little bit further back. So we see the battle there at the front there has been good, but it's a good gap as we look further back in the field. There's the TCR.
So the midfield battle is always an interesting one, because you know when you've got your 2 cars that are sitting out front, they're just settled down to do their business, right? But you see a lot of action happening in mid-pack. Now these cars coming around, and then this one, of course, involving, well, guess who? Scott O'Donnell starting to work his way through the field in the HWR hydrogen car, getting past the car 100, which is Chris Wallen's little Honda Civic out of Lower Hutt. That's a quick little car, the O'Donnell car.
That is well, he's driving it well. He was second on the grid, and he's trying to make it up there against the TCR Audi there. The sedan spec one as they get by, but he did lose a lap during that little incident where he went for a swim.
So he's gone past Denzel Travers in the Audi RS3 TCR car, and again pedaled to the metal and carving up the field is Scott O'Donnell here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Okay, let's head into the pits. Stefan, what happened with that Starlet, mate, that was stuck on the road?
Yeah, Steve, I just went over there and I hunted these guys out. They were all over the show. It turns out that they changed the gear ratio in that car, which caused it to rev higher, and it blew the motor. So a bit of a shame for the Jamie Duff clan, but they are now on the trailer and parked up for the rest of the weekend. Thanks,
buddy. Appreciate that. Remember, if you call me Steve again, I'll throw something at you.
Chris Hall leading the class. Let's have a look at the Class 5 battle, actually, with the results in that one there. And Chris Hall leading that with James Mitchell there in second, Donovan Isted in third, Reese Turner in fourth, and Mark Meadows in fifth in that battle there for the Class 5 guys. So class within class battles here as we look onto the field.
So almost 35 minutes gone in this 1 hour, and essentially no change to the top 3. It's Gould, Black and Arnott leading from Hall, Moore, McKenzie and Garger. Keep your eye on what Scott O'Donnell does from the back. You can see him out there heading to the top through turn 5 and turn 6, heading down towards Warren Black, posting another fast time of 1:01:106. That's quick. So that's a...
They're on the pace, aren't they? That's qualifying pace that they are putting through these tyres. So that's a lot of hard work. And there's still traffic around as they is right on the duff of it. But in front of you see O'Donnell, who's making his move back up through the field after that little whoopsie he had. Been a great run there from Scott to come through the field twice now. As we see the battles here, we're back to the front of the grid, and that's where that lead battle is happening.
Yeah, so it's interesting to note that Gould hasn't, look at this, Gould hasn't really got away from Black, and now the catching up back-end traffic is actually just putting a little bit of pressure on him. So this is where, if you were Black, you just sit tight for a moment and try and get as close as you can to make that move. But that Gould car still is a rocket.
If I'm Warren Black, I'm sitting here just going, let's wait for a lap traffic to cause him a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to take no risks, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for a problem. But then Warren just pulls up closer to him and tries to look like he's going to make a move at Castrol right now in front of you on the screen and make me an absolute liar. But
so going through Castrol, Black putting pressure on Rhys Gould. They go through Castrol now, heading up towards turn 3. But just how smoothly does Rhys Gould go through turns 2 and 3 and heading up to turns 4 and 5 and just puts a nice little gap on Warren Black. So the battle of the TCRs continues as we head into the 37th minute.
it seems like Black's quicker through this last sector and then through turn 1. And then Gould definitely gets him through Castrol on that next couple of corners there. So it's very interesting there. The two cars, TCR cars both, but seem to have their different strengths, or the drivers may have their different strengths.
I'm always fascinated by that too as they lap car 39, and that is the Bradley Dawson out of Invercargill, local born as Mazda RX-8, and good for him for getting out there on a beautiful day too. As the crowd's starting to build up on the hill as you come in through the main gates here. And I wonder if that's about setup too, and you understand that your car is better through different areas.
Yeah, and well, turn 1's a commitment corner, so that can be a big part of it as well. But definitely setup is it all. You can make your car turn, or you can make your car better in a straight line with different wing setups and stuff like that. So these cars are very adjustable as they go through.
So moving back to just a little bit further back down the field, and Matthew O'Donnell and his Audi RS3 starting to haul in Pal Arnott just a little bit. There's Pal Arnott there, has had a good start to the race, and has dropped back somewhat, and he's just under 6.5 seconds behind the leader, but strong, consistent driving. Maybe it's just cars just not quick.
Yeah. But one I've just noticed that has dropped off the leaderboard there is the Lotus of Jacob Garger. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's dropped a couple of laps, so he must have gone into the pits because we can't see him on the side of the track anywhere. So he was one that was really battling with those TCRs in that little Lotus, and it looked like it might have put a little bit through that, too much through that little Lotus, and it looks like unfortunately he's dropped out.
O'Donnell working his way through the field here at Teretonga Park Raceway. He's had an interesting afternoon, starting from pit lane, then finding the water, going for a swim. Filling the car with water. I haven't actually seen any fallout, so it can't be much. It can't be that much of a bucket in the sense of holding water. Here comes the little Lotus out now. That's car 505. There's Robert Gardner and his Lotus Exige out. So must have needed a little bit of tinkering, but back out and racing, and that's what we want to see.
Yeah, he wants his miles, and that's what he's doing well. But Scott O'Donnell there, and here's the battle for the lead. Oh, it's a touch even there by Black onto Gould there right in front of you.
And at the same point in every lap, it's coming onto the main straight that Warren Black seems to pick it up, as he does as they head through Castrol as well. So there are 2 points in the track where he knows he can pick up pace.
Yeah, and that last corner is interesting because it's a passing opportunity, but when you're on a lap, you actually brake a little bit earlier because you're actually trying to get exit. So when you can attack, as one's on the TCR car there is working hard through sector 1, and they're coming up to a gaggle of cars in front of them. So that's another opportunity for Black to start to make his move, is that when he gets behind that lap traffic and he makes a mistake, or the lap traffic causes a mistake, he can jump on them there. But definitely the second half of this lap is Black territory.
Yeah, let's just follow this for just a moment, because it's weird as we're coming through turns 6 and heading towards turn 7 now there. Black seems to make up ground. This time, though, a little bit of a different story, because he got caught by back-end traffic there. So that explains that as the cars head towards the main straight to complete another lap as we head past the 40-minute mark. 20 minutes to go. And the 1 hour endurance classes 4 and 5 here at Teretonga Park Raceway and the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series. So much racing to come a little bit later on. Of course, we've got the 1 hour on the classes 2 and 3, and then, of course, the 3 hour. The South Island Endurance Series 3 hour series, and we cannot wait for that one. That is going to be an absolute cracker. And when you take a look at the field for the next race up, we've got something like 26 cars or thereabouts in there. So,
there's lap traffic all round. There's 3 cars there. This is Black's opportunity to catch up, and now he's got caught by them being too wide and had to stop.
It's almost like he's being blocked by the back markers, and it's certainly helped Rhys Gould get away.
Yeah, Gould had a little issue there first, and then Black was thinking he was going to capitalise on it. As we see the car in front of this group is must be young Eton Hodson in it. He's been an absolute charger in that BMW, who's right in front of these cars here, and he's kept it on the lead lap and really done a great job. We'll see him in the next race. He was our second place runner in the Porsche. One of these young drivers learning his craft in the South Island Endurance Series, double running with Brett Sullivan, and then in the second race running a Porsche to get the miles.
Nice looking Porsche too. I was reading an article about it. It's a nicely prepared Porsche based in Wanaka that's being held them out there. They've dragged it across, so looking forward to seeing young Eton Hodson out there as we see your leader Reese Gould now having to work through back marker tracker.
Right there, right in front of him, right there, as he lets him by. Nice smart move by the young driver, just letting the leader by in a nice spot.
Well, it's respectful driving, and that's what lead drivers would really like.
It is a lot of respect, and it's a hard thing. You know, you have your flashing lights and other things to try and get it, but Blake here, he's working hard to get back on it. Blake runs, one of the things that will be helping Blake out of that last one, I think that TCR spec that he's actually got has a traction control in it, which will allow him to get that drive out of that slower corner better in that front wheel drive car. So that's probably one of the things of why we're seeing him get such a good run. And then I think that also gives him ABS. So he's able to just chuck it into that last corner hard on the brake and get it turned in, and then use his traction control to get it out. So slightly different specs with the Hyundai versus the Audi, and they use the engine management system to get it done.
2.28 seconds is the gap now that Gould has opened up on Warren Black ahead of Pal Arnott, who's 11.7 seconds back from the lead, and has sort of gone backwards somewhat. But the interesting thing here is they've all moved themselves through back markers really smoothly. Look at the way Reese Gould just takes that little TCR through the back markers, and no one's really blocking them. We saw a moment ago, man, it's almost a double block going through Castrol.
But that's two cars racing each other, right? Like, they're not trying to, you know what I mean? Like, yes. They still get to have their own race. They don't have to jump out of the way when the faster guy comes, if you know what I mean.
Well, I do know what you mean.
One car is, yeah, hey, look, okay, but if I'm side by side with someone, I'm there, right? Like, I've been racing the whole race to get here. I'm going to try and pass the guy. But that is the problem of being a leader sometimes, is that, yeah, you do have the faster car, and I'm doing my race.
Yeah, you see, my helmet would be full of expletives saying, I am the leader, please show me and let me get out of the way. And he goes
I can guarantee that's the truth. I'm not saying that at all.
Well, he gets past Denzel Travers in the other Audi, so he's lapped Denzel Travers in the 220 car, so Reese Gould really is...
he's lapped up to 6th place. I mean, it is a great performance by him. He has been consistent the whole lap times, everything. He's done the fastest lap with a 1 minute 0.9, which is faster than qualifying for him. So he is really setting the timing screens alight as well.
This is Pal Arnott on screen. And that's in the 17 car. That's the Hyundai i30N TCR racing out of Auckland, sitting in P3 at the moment. His last lap he put down a 101.414. So the one thing we're noticing, if you look at those times in the green on the right-hand side of our scoring ladder, they're really consistent.
Yeah, they're fast laps, and that's the fastest lap they've done. And so you can see that there is, you know, a second between the top 5 guys. But there's been such consistency from Gould that he's been able to get this big lead against most of the others except for Black, because he's just been so consistent throughout the race, just hitting that lap time number, hit that lap time number, hit that lap time number, and that's hard to do through this back marker track. As we look at, that's young Horan. I'm trying to remember, sorry, I've said it his dad's name. I've given him his dad's name, unfortunately, for him. I know all sons love that. And he's a young 13-year-old who's learning his craft. He's also a rally driver. That Pal Arnott car is actually prepared by Haddon Rally Sports. So that is rally versus rally there with young Brooklyn Horan. Young 13, it might be 14 now, but started the national championship for the last couple of rounds.
The one thing you love about the Toyota 86 series, as we both know, you've got young Thomas running as one of the Race Lab team in the new season, the Super Sprint series coming up. It is such a strong car for a young driver to learn in, because they've got brakes that you can literally tramp on all day and they won't go away. And they're just a solid car to learn how to race.
Oh, yeah. Like, and you look where the drivers who have come from that championship have gone afterwards. And, you know, Ryan Wood a couple of years ago, Callum Hedge with where he's kicking down good doors. I mean, I've just given you two of the young names that are just doing so well. But Reese Gould, our leader there, is...
A little bit of a wiggle going into that corner, so really pushing the TCR very hard. His P2 at the moment, which is Warren Black. It's interesting that you mentioned Ryan Wood and also Callum Hedge. Callum Hedge having won that scholarship now to go to the shootout in Germany, the Porsche shootout in Germany, which has been won by Earl Bamber previously, and he is running super well in Carrera Cup Porsche in Australia. And then Ryan Wood winning Super 2 last weekend at Sandown, and then gets the full drive with WAU replacing Nick Percat in the main game and supercars. I mean, you continue to be amazed at the amount of young New Zealand talent that's doing it. And in many ways, Ryan Wood is a bit under the radar, right? For most people, they're going, who's Ryan Wood, right?
Yeah, well, the guys, this is where he got his start, really. He came out 86 and came down here and got into a Porsche and he was blowing our socks off us in an 86. I'll be honest, I chased his data and I hated it because he was so quick. But this kid was good, and he came into a Porsche and showed it in this series. And that's what we're going to see with Ayrton Hodgson in the BMW we're talking about. He's going to be in a Porsche. They use this as the development to head to Australia and do their Porsche racing and go so well. Ronan Murphy last year, same sort of thing.
What intrigues me is the step out of an 86 into a Porsche. You're dealing with a completely different car, and it must be a hell of an adjustment. Yes, it's another car, it's another steering wheel, but you're dealing with a different dynamics, different power, different handling.
Yeah, definitely all of those things, but the 86 series is so competitive that it just makes the skill level there, and it's about every sport. If you've got the base skill level, you can adapt to the different situations that you have. You don't go out there and, if you know how to tackle, it doesn't matter how big they are, they go down if you've used technique. And that's the same in the race car. The technique on the brake, the downshifts, and all of those things transfer from an 86. And because of our New Zealand competitiveness, we've got these top cars, top teams running them. We've got some of the best driver coaches around that are working in that series to make some of the best drivers we've got, and it's just stepped them on. And then the other thing we have is TRS, which is just insane for the same sort of level and that sort of thing. And that's why New Zealand drivers, we're just kicking the goals overseas. I mean, we just talked about two guys winning classes. Brendan Leach, the South Island runner, won in Lamborghini as well.
Still leading that Super Trofeo series.
And won a race and was fourth, I think, in leading the series. Liam Lawson got points in F1. He was in the National Endurance Series a couple of years ago with Scott O'Donnell. So,
and isn't that a story that we can't get enough of? The future of Liam Lawson and how that one will shake down. The Japan Grand Prix this weekend at Suzuka, a track he knows because he's driven Super Formula there. But what will happen? Haven't heard any announcements. Here's the crazy thing. There been all the chatter of the Formula One journalists saying, what's going on? Is Tsunoda going to be renewed? But we haven't heard a thing, and we're heading into qualifying today. So much to look forward to as we refocus on the last 12 minutes of this endurance race in classes 4 and 5 in the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series, and it's all been Reece Gould. Hasn't been headed. He's had the charge from Warren Black, but he's 4.8 seconds ahead. And Pal Arnott, who initially was sitting right on the tail of Reece Gould, sitting back in P3, some 17 seconds back from the lead. It's been a peerless drive from Reece Gould so far. And the encouraging thing is he comes up behind a very slow back marker, who's is actually heading into the pits, is that they've managed the back markers sweetly. Heading towards 10 minutes to play in this opening 1-hour endurance race with Class 2 and 3 not too far away. And some very, very strong cars. There are a lot of Porsches out there that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm also looking forward to seeing Steve Brooks and Bill Riding in their Porsche. They're running an Audi in the 3-hour endurance race. They're pretty excited. I know Steve Brooks loves this car and that Audi R8 that
that's with Andrew Waite now.
I was Waite. So
Waite's in. Bill's out, and I think he's sick or something. And we've just heard also one of the French guys is sick as well. So
one of the French guys. You mean Francois or Mana?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Francois. I'm pretty sure. That's why I said one of the French guys, because it's one of the two, and I'm pretty sure it was Francois. I'll get the information in the lunch break. We've got a break to go and find that all out. But yeah, we've got Francois, I believe, is sick. sick. I just got a rumour, but now I think it was Bill Riding that's out with that weight car.
You and I are going to have to talk about rumours versus facts, mate.
Well, no,
you
I
can't
know
throw
those.
a rumour out.
No, I know that they are. I know that they're out. I just couldn't remember the driver. Sorry, Stephen. It's a long day already. Okay.
You think?
Yeah.
You think?
And we've only got another 4 hours of racing action to come. It's 10 minutes to go, but the battle for third looks pretty hot there with Arnott and Hall. They're pretty close together as we see them come across the line. Has Arnott made the move on Hall now? What's happening there as they go across the line and into one?
So here is trouble.
Oh,
there
is
the 117 car. Mike Hall in the Volkswagen Golf GTR. He
slowing down on the front line. This hopefully he can get to a safe spot. Is he going to pull in there? If he doesn't, that's going to be a safety car.
So what is
for
going
the
on?
last few laps here?
So there is Mike Hall pulled up. He hasn't pulled up. He's pulled over. And there is something definitely wrong with the 117 car, the Volkswagen Golf TCR. So you can see a yellow flag out at the moment, or just a caution flag has gone up. We haven't gone full course yellow at the moment, but I mean, you're a race car driver. You'd go safety car, and that's sitting on the front straight, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, oh, definitely.
Whoa!
There's one that's missed. The safety car boards are already out.
Well,
they're already out.
Little Lotus. I think there was Garjo, had to take an inside lane, didn't see him, went onto the grass, has survived okay. So, yeah, safety car now with under 10 minutes to play.
That was pretty much exactly at the time the safety car could see that was going to happen, and they called the safety car bang when that happened. And it was luckily great reactions from the young kid there in the Lotus to miss that. It got a little bit airborne. I don't know. We were on the screen with that, so that was a hairy moment there for a second. But the safety car boards had just come out as that happened.
So this is the first 1 hour endurance race of round 2 of the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series, brought to you by Allied 24/7 Fuel, Mobil 1 and Michelin Motorsport. And we have another safety car. It's car 117. That's Mike Hall in the Volkswagen Golf TCR has just pulled up, full stop. Nothing smoking, it's just stopped. So this is going to be interesting now, because the field will pack up again and give Warren Black the chance to get his nose behind Reece Gould again.
Yeah, I've got to guess that it's well, there's going to be the cars in between, so there's a few cars in between. So we'll try and figure out how many cars are left in between those two. There's one car, is it? Gould there, and then one car between, which is a little 86. So that'll be cleared pretty quickly. So we are going to be in for a battle.
And it's the perfect way to finish off the back end of an endurance race, when you start to bring a little drama into play. And one car behind, so if you can get past that one car, and we know those TCRs flew on the last restart. They literally gobbled up the...
Here's a replay of that.
So just keep your eye on the little black car coming down. Yeah, that's what you call a cheek tightener. And you've got to suggest, and there was that Jacob Gardner and his little Lotus there. That was almost too close for calls, and I'm going to say it right now. They should have called a full course yellow a lot quicker than that, because he was at pace. So that's called dodging a bullet.
Very much so.
Wow. When you look at that, that's a blink of an eye. So good on Jacob Gardner for getting that little Lotus out of trouble.
Yep, we missed. It could have been a massive one as the Wasteco Raptor there pulls out the TCR car, and we should be getting back under it. We've got 6 minutes to go, so I'm thinking we're going to have about 4 minutes to go when the race restarts.
So under another safety here in Teretonga Park Raceway, there is your race leader, Reece Gould in the 5 car, the Hyundai i30N TCR, and 2 cars back is Warren Black and his Audi RS3 LMS TCR car, the 93 car. The battle will be between those two for the finish line. It's quite a way back to Pal Arnott in the 17 car. That's the other Hyundai i30N TCR. So it's a battle between the top two. There's a little 86 sitting in between them, but that will cause no bother for Warren Black, except the fact that it'll be frustrating there to get past it, to try and get up to speed, to see if he can pick off Reece Gould. So the Mobil 1 pace car just working them around. The track is now clear.
Class 5. We'll give you a few results from there. Currently leading that is Chris Hall with James Mitchell in second, Donovan Isted in third, and then Mark Meadows in that little Lotus fourth, Reese Turner in fifth. So some good battles also in the class side of stuff as well, as we hopefully going to see that safety car light come out this lap, and we're going to be back underway.
So they're now just going through the back part of Teretonga Park Raceway, heading up towards turn 5 and then coming down through turn 7. And the safety car has moved away, so it'll be green lights shortly for the resumption of this 1 hour race in classes 4 and 5 here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Let's find out what happened to the 117 car. Steph?
Yeah, hey guys, Stephen. He lost all gears, so that car was flying, absolutely flying. He was looking in the back of third place and no gears whatsoever. So it seems people are having a few issues with gearing around this place today.
Thanks, mate. We are green again. Under 4 minutes to go in the first 1 hour races, class 4 and 5. And Reese Gould now has Warren Black right up his tailpipe as they go through turn 1. But look how well Reese Gould's exit is on that.
Yeah, he's been struggling there all night. Has he been playing possum with us, Stephen, through turn 1 as he's pushed that lap to try and get that? But as we said, watch for the ABS and the traction control to use that in that black car, black transport car, because he can get out of those slower corners and into that last corner seems to be where we see his advantage. So we're in Signature Homes territory. Soon we're going to go into black transport territory.
So Reese Gould leads Warren Black through the back half of the field as they're coming down towards turn 7 and onto the front straight. This is where Warren Black traditionally gets him, and he doesn't this time, so a bit of a sloppy exit, you might say, a little bit from Reese Gould, but he'll probably slap me for that one because he's been sitting in the lead for 99.9% of the race. This could be a lights to flag victory for Gould in his Hyundai TCR. And there's Pal Arnott. Now, Pal Arnott's picked up some pace. Now, he's probably well, he's only 4 seconds off Warren Black, and that's plenty of time to pick up. We're sort of under the 3 minute mark now, so anything could happen, maybe even that P2, P3 position. And he is honking as they come through towards Castrol.
Yeah, they're absolutely moving there with the battle there. He's trying to catch that group in front. He was about 10 cars in between them, but caught up all of the sort of 15 seconds, but unfortunately had those few cars between them as they keep on going. But let's see, Warren Black there is in an absolute scrap. He's going to try and get the power down and get moving. He's got to get to the back of Reese Gould, as Gould is trying hard here to do the battle. Power nut there. We've got one out over in the corner there. It looks like he's parked up and out and safe, but let's watch this battle at the front as they drive down. Warren Black might have brought up his tyres now. That's one of the other things you can see is that sometimes the tyre pressures come down too much in a safety car. It can either help you or hinder you that if you are a bit too far with it. But Black is definitely getting a good run down the front straight at this time. And working through turn 1, the battle is raging here with only 2 minutes to go in this Carter's Tyre Service 1 hour race, the first one of the weekend, as the battles happen throughout the pack. Catches him here, then it's just really quick, the TCR, the Hyundai TCR from this point on through these next flowing section. He seems to get a little gap on Warren Black, and then up to here. After this breaking point here, that's when Warren Black starts getting it. But he's quite shallow with his line there, so not using all the track. So don't know if he's starting to get a bit tight in the car or what, but there's definitely a good battle going on there between Gould and Black here with about a second between them as we talk after an hour of racing, 59 minutes gone. So we're going to get the last lap border out this lap right now. I can see it in front of us as he takes the last lap board.
So Reese Gould on the last lap. He has led from start to finish. He's had pressure from Warren Black. It was early pressure came from Pal Arnott, who's just come across the start-finish line. But in the end, it's been a sublime class of watching him just negotiate that Hyundai TCR around Teretonga Park Raceway. As they come through Castrol now, this is where Warren Black has traditionally picked him up through the race. And you can see he closes the gap in, but Reese Gould has just been seamless all afternoon here. Should I say all morning? Gosh, it's just gone 20 past 11 in the morning here, wherever you're watching around New Zealand. It is a Saturday morning in New Zealand as we see him come around the final turns. That's through turn 6, heading towards turn 7 and onto the front straight. Reese Gould. Final corner, comes onto the front straight. Checkered flag is out. And Reece Gould in his Hyundai i30 and TCR will take out round 2 and the 1 hour endurance race here in the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series, followed home by the 93 car of Warren Black. And coming home in 3rd position will be Pal Arnott. Well, lights to flag doesn't get too much better than that, Mark Mallard.
Yeah, and across the line we get Barry Moore. That's the last one on the lead lap there. The fourth, there only 4 cars on the lead lap. That's how dominant Reece Gould was in that race. And it wasn't lap time so much. He was the quickest, but it was down to consistency. And he just managed his time, managed the race. That's what we're talking about, endurance racing. It's how far you can go in an hour. It's not necessarily the fastest car, it's the fastest car over an hour. And he did a great job of that. Really, we hardly saw the car move. There was a little couple of moments about that 45-minute mark that you sort of saw the car sort of moving. Then it sort of seemed to come underneath it. But just huge consistency from him with a fast lap there. So great move.
Worth noting, he put his fastest lap down on the second to last lap, the penultimate lap. He put a 1 minute 0.706, so that was quick. That's very quick.
And he had that Challenger Black that he had to see off at that stage.
So confirmation of the results of the South Island Endurance Series Round 2, Race 1 classes 4 and 5. Reece Gould gets it with a win over and 1.3 seconds ahead of Warren Black, followed by Pal Arnott, Barrymore. Denzel Travers, the youngster in that 220 Audi, got lapped. 1 lap back, he was the first of the lap traffic. Sullivan, Wall, O'Donnell, Donovan Isted, and James Mitchell.
Wall was the leader of Class 5 there, so that was the win for him in Class 5. That's a great result from him.
Meadows, Turner, Parker, Sheehan, McKenzie, Dawson, Horan, Denton, while Scott O'Donnell had just one of those days.
Yeah, Saxon Sheehan won the unofficial Toyota 86 championship run there, so that was good for him, so well done to him.
Jacob Garger, 5 laps down, had a moment, almost rear-ended the Mike Hall car, but we won't talk about that because that's something you don't want to think about as we go down to Dylan Petch in P30, and didn't have a great day, obviously, because that's well behind. So there is your podium, and in the middle of it is Reece Gould in the number 1 position. Beside him, Warren Black, and then Pal Arnott. All TCR cars, all cars consistently doing the job. And that was good to watch, particularly the TCRs working their way through the back markers as well.
Yeah, it was a good field. 30 cars made it interesting. We've got a great field coming up in the next battle too. And just large fields make great racing. And we can see racing throughout the pack was good. So that was fantastic effort. And I think young Ayrton Hodson there, and you said it was Brent Sullivan, but with him at the end of it, that one, he really pulled that car up from being a lap down from his previous driver in there. And he really worked hard. They'd had a bad qualifying session. And Ayrton really drove that car so well there. We saw him letting the traffic through when he needed to, but was quick for that car's what it should be able to do.
You mentioned Ayrton Hodson. He'll be back out in about 15 minutes because 11:40 is the time for our next race, which is the Class 2 and 3 1 hour endurance race. He'll be hopping into a GT3 Cup 991 car in Class 2. So he is going to be busy, but there's nothing better than having time in the seat regardless of what sort of car you are driving. We'll try and get some reaction shortly from one of our podium places, but at the moment that is your podium for the 1 hour endurance races classes 4 and 5, proudly brought to you by Allied 24/7 Fuel, Mobil 1 and Michelin Motorsport here at the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series round number 2. So just waiting for Reece Gould to get out of the car, and Steffi will be there to have a yak to him and get some reaction on what was really a wonderful race to watch. Lights to flag. Let's get some reaction now down on the front straight. Steffi?
Reece Gould, you led from start to finish. You got to be pretty happy with that performance.
Yeah, no, pretty happy with it. Actually, qualifying went well this morning, and yeah, pretty happy with that. A couple of safety cars put a bit of pressure on. I'm not sure what that thing's got in it, but it's got some grunt down the straight and all that. So no, it was a good race for the boys, and Sam and the team. Lucky to have them on board.
You had a 4.1 second lead there at one stage before it closed down at the end, so the car performing good, you're performing good, feeling all right after that?
Yeah, no, the day's good too. It's nice and cool, sort of early in the morning and that type of thing, so no, happy with it. Car's going real well. Yeah, hasn't really missed a beat this weekend at all, so well prepped, and looking forward to levels.
Well, congratulations on taking out the second round of the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series here at Teretonga.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
We'll head over to second place. Paulana, pretty happy with that?
Yeah, a bit of a lonely race, but good fun out there.
Third place, eh?
Yeah, lucky to hang on to it. The fourth place car was coming up pretty fast, but I think they had a problem with about 5 minutes to go, so pretty happy.
Yeah, they did a few gearing issues, but you can't take it away, mate. You performed really, really well.
Oh, thank you so much. Had a great time out there.
How are you feeling?
Tyres.
Go park it up for the rest of the afternoon, eh?
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
All right, now we'll head over to second spot. Warren Black. Warren, car looking fantastic. You're looking pretty good, mate. Got to be happy with second spot.
Yeah, no, real happy. It's for the M Developments team. Like, we had the engine out yesterday, put it back in for qualifying, had a few issues, and then, yeah, to come away and get a podium. It's awesome for the team, eh? They really deserved it.
The team work real hard, and you work real hard yourself. The car looks $1 million, and you're going to go and enjoy this the second spot.
Yep, no, awesome. Thank you. It was an awesome race. Thanks to all the sponsors and everyone that puts on the event. You can't do it without them, and with good competitors, like the whole field is awesome.
That's good. You were coming there in the last part of that race, the last couple of minutes. Did you find something after that last safety car?
I thought I had to suck it up a wee bit and try a bit harder, try and catch him. I knew I had a wee bit more pace on the end of the straight, but yeah, he was shutting the door pretty good. So, nah, it was good fun.
Lap traffic, did that become a bit of a hassle? I noticed he'd get away from you a wee bit, then you'd pull him back in and then get away going through lap traffic?
Well, lap traffic works both ways. It works for you and against you, and that's what's real good about the lap traffic. They give you race room, and they do their best, and that makes it easier for us, and yeah, we really appreciate it, everyone out there.
Well, congratulations on second spot, and this is your podium for round 2 of the Carter's Tyres South Island Endurance Series here at Teretonga in Invercargill.
Thanks, mate. Nice work getting reaction 2 from our full podium. There's still more to come. We're not too far away. We're about 10 minutes away from the start of our second race. It is the second 1-hour endurance race of the weekend here at the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series. It will be classes 1 and 2. And sitting in pole position is Jordan Michaels, Adam Julian behind him, and Mana Melizamak and Ayrton Hodgson making up row 2. Matt Whitaker and Martin Dibby making up row 3. So much more to come. We'll be back shortly in about 10 minutes' time here on Pits TV, live from Teretonga Park Raceway.
Tread true.
It's what we are and what we do.
Stay true to our roots and principles. Keep our customers and their vehicles safe.
Think smarter and keener to reduce cost.
Go the extra kilometre without cutting corners.
Own mistakes and do our best to put things right.
Work hard.
Play fair.
Act with honesty.
Inspire trust.
And always
do the job right.
Stow it, dig it, lift it, mow it, trim it, grind it, chip it. We hire it. Mix it, pour it, smooth it, finish it, saw it, clean it, nail it, polish it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it.
The coolest thing about these tyres is it just combines every part of Michelin that they've brought to the table over the years. So you've got the performance, the reliability, every single part of that is now connected. As a general everyday driving tyre, there's no road noise, and then you've got the velvet touch feel when you get outside the car. So it matches literally every perspective that a driver and someone who's passionate about the road would want.
Join me on a nationwide refuel roadie as I discover how Allied Petroleum keeps business moving. G'day, I'm Greg Murphy and welcome to the Allied Petroleum Refuel Roadie. Now, when looking for a place to start the Allied Petroleum Refuel Roadie, it was pretty obvious. Head down to the deep south and come to Gore, and Allied's brand new fueling station. Perfect location for you to operate all your fleet.
Yeah, perfect, Greg, and welcome to Gore.
Thank you.
So we run a fleet of 30 trucks here out of Eastern Southland and Gore here, servicing the farming district.
You guys are the one-stop shop for all the farmers locally around here. Man, you've got your fingers in every single pie.
Yeah, so livestock's one of the things we do, but also fertiliser spreading, you know, general bulk cartage, and obviously farming sector, it's a 24/7 business. Yep. So we need to make sure we've got fuel to rely on, and that's one thing that Allied Petroleum give us.
Yep, the fleet card works pretty good then, eh?
Yeah, perfect. You know, it's great.
Mate, great to catch up. I'm actually a bit of a fan of your HRT logo. I used to actually work for a team that was called HRT, a little bit different in its meaning. But hey, great to meet you. I'm now off to go and hit the quarry up the road at Winton.
Heading up with Oz.
Wish me luck.
No, good luck.
Thanks, mate. Next on Refuel Roadie.
Greg, how you going?
Hell of a setup you got here, mate. That's awesome.
Scaftex Solutions are your scaffolding experts in the Invercargill and Greater Southland region that offer more than just scaffolding. From ring lock and tube and clip access scaffolding through to shrink wrapping, safety nets and temporary site fencing, Scaftex Solutions have it all. Backed by a team of experts that can put it all together for you, Scaftex Solutions will make it easy. Call them today on 0800 777 444. That's 0800 777 444 and talk to one of the team. Scaftex Solutions, it's within your reach.
Welcome back to Teretonga Park Raceway, wherever you are around the world on Pits TV. This is round 2 of the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series, and we are now heading into the 1 hour endurance race in classes 2 and 3, and here is your grid. Jordan Michaels on pole position in that Mark II Mustang. Jordan Michaels in the Mark II Mustang with Adam Julian beside him in the 84 car, GT3. Which is the Audi R8 GT3. Marta Melsmek in P3, followed by that should be Ayrton Hodson in P4. We keep on rolling down the grid. Matt Whitaker on row 3 with Martin Dippy, and then Steve Brooks in the 88 car, which is the Porsche GT3 Cup car, the 992 car. Brazier, Dippy, McFarlane and Bushell. Steve Scholes in the Ginetta. And then Flanagan and Wright. Stephen McIver, Mark Mallard. And they are just lining up before we get going again.
So the battle you're going to see is the V8 versus all these Porsches. The Jordan Michaels car really set a lap time in qualifying that was fantastic. He pitted early, just let that lap time sit. So he did a fantastic job there. Ayrton Hodgson coming up in the iSpy car. That's a lot earlier spec car. He's done well to put it there on the grid in car 28. You'll see there on the grid of the iSpy. as we're still waiting for our 2 front row runners to come through to get to the front of the grid. So we wait for these runners to come on. It's a rolling start here, so they form up on the grid and then they go out as the front row. He comes up the second place one of Adam Julian. You'll see these GT3 spec cars, but that one is an older one, so that's why it's allowed in this 1 hour as Matt Whitaker comes up, and then now pole sitter is the last car through. Squeezing through the gap, it is a narrow, you see how narrow it is for going 3 wide here at this track. As they line up. You've got the Mobile 1 safety car at the front that will lead us away. Carter's Tyre Service has been a great supporter of the class overall series. As they get underway here, they hear that V8 roar as it gets underway. Naturally aspirated V8 on the outside as well there with the GT3 cars, so those two. And then we've got the gaggle of Porsches, and it's sort of the Porsche Cup there for one of the other battles there. So just running through the grid as we work our way up into this one warm-up lap, and then we'll be underway. The Mobile 1 safety car will turn off its lights and we'll be under action here.
So Jordan Mickles is sitting in pole position. There's that magnificent Mark Mustang. Just, you got to love a big, just growly V8, don't you?
And doing a 55 round here, and naturally aspirated car is quick. So he is on the wheel, local Southland boy who knows this track well, and he battled well last year and really put it to these Porsches. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that battle there.
Mana Melzek and that beautiful Manthe Racing GT3 Porsche Cup car. They are beautifully prepared, those cars, and they can fly. And I know John Alesta has been training Mana and Francois Bezek a long time, and they have got better and better under that tutelage. The safety car is away. We are about to get green to go in the second 1 hour race here in Teretonga Park Raceway. It's classes 2 and 3, the 1 hour endurance race. Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series. They are lining up, waiting for it to go green, and we are racing. Classes 2 and 3, the 1 hour endurance race. Mickles on pole, has Julian down on beside him, and they're bunching up, heading towards turn number 1. Inside line for Mickles. Pressure coming from Mana Melzmek on the inside. Brake dust flying. There is a spinner at one stage. Who's that? Let's double check. That's a Porsche.
There's the Davidson car in there as well. That was 10th place, around 10th place, a couple of those Porsches. As they try, oh, and there's another one spun in front of that.
So we will get the safety car out, just like in the 1 hour endurance races for class in 4 and 5. First lap carnage. It's a very good entry into turn 1 by Jordan Mickles. Handled that beautifully with Julian on the outside, and a safety car has come out. So it's almost like deja vu again. We have the safety car out on the opening lap of this 1 hour endurance race.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out which one that Porsche is. We just cannot quite see the number, as it's the Corvette there in the door of it, but as he opens his door trying to get out.
So that'll be Bruce Davidson, the 35 car out of Alexandra in the Chevy Corvette.
He's run that car since brand new, 10 years in the series in that same car, and an unfortunate start to the race for him.
So just trying to identify which Porsche that is. Unsure. There's some movement now. A lot of grating metal sounds as well. So it's sort of that.
Maybe Martin Neal. I think it might be Martin Neal in 185.
Let's just wait and see as they clear the carnage a little bit. So the Hiab's on its way out. Let's just watch again what happened. So here's the opening lap. Now you can see Mickles with the advantage going into turn 1.
further back there, that's the Martin Neal car there, and oh yes, he's just been tapped there by the Sylvester car, and then unfortunately Davidson's been caught in as he's come down. So really unfortunate little first lap incident there with a little tap, it looked like, from the Sylvester car, causing the Martin Neal car to be sideways. Now he's got out of there and got moving, but the Davidson's car is still stricken there on the road at turn 1.
So then if you take a closer look, I think that front left has snapped the front left on that Corvette as well. It looks like it's pointing the wrong way. Here comes the high ab, and just you'd consider that a simple racing incident.
Oh, that's a first lap. Unfortunate what happens. It's really hard when you're going into that first lap, cold tyres, and yep, it's just Constantine it up there, and unfortunately Sylvester's just given him a slight tap, and it's all happened from there.
Well, that most encouraging thing. So let's just have a look at Bruce Davidson getting out. This is the Wolfbrook Porsche. That's Steve Brooks. So still under safety car. You have to remove the Corvette from the... So there's the 185 Porsche. That was the Porsche that was caught out Marty Neal. You're on the money there, Mark. He's gone back to the pits. That's that Porsche GT3 Cup 991.1 car.
There's Wolfbrook car there. He's dropped to the back there. So there was a spin. There was something that had happened in front of that group. So I think he'd got caught up in that as well. So we were watching the battle a bit back, but I think the Wolfbrook car there had a little issue there on turn 1 as well, and he's dropped to the back of the field. So he's going to be one to watch coming through the field because he had some pace in qualifying.
Yeah, Steve Brooks. Well, he's got Andrew Waite with him, who's actually the driver coach of Bill and Steve. And so Andrew will jump into a seat at any chance he gets to give it a nudge. And he will be co-driving in this one, the 88 car.
I think he's in the 3R, so he's going to do the full race by himself in this one, I believe, is what we've been told. Steve Brooks is doing the full race, and then he's going to do the share the 3R in the GT3
copy
Audi.
So the field under safety car, as we remove the Chevrolet Corvette of Bruce Davidson that got tangled up with the 135 Porsche, the 185 Porsche, excuse me, of Marty Neal on the opening lap. So they'll just quietly cruise around here at Teretonga Park Raceway, already entering the 5th minute of this 1 hour. I suppose they'll be pretty happy about that. They won't be chewing up tyres. They'll all be sitting. Of course, they have to have that compulsory pit stop as well.
Yeah, between the 20 and 40 minute mark, they've got to have that pit stop. So last time we saw the safety car come out right, and we had a very busy pit lane in the class 4 and 5.
And they were short. They seem shorter cars too. So you've got to have a 45-second compulsory pit stop, and then get on with it. And there's some real power out there on the track.
Out comes the pit lane, comes 185.
So Marty Neal, you could probably hear it now through our speakers. That beautiful. What do you call this? What do you call the sound of a
flat
Porsche?
6? It's a flat 6.
Oh, the flat 6.
Yeah, it's a Porsche. Basically, they've got their own little breed of sound, and yeah, rear engine. Yeah,
gorgeous
car that just
gorgeous. That has evolved as a car, as a model, and yet that has never lost its DNA.
Yeah, definitely. They're a true DNA car, aren't they? You can look at a 964, you can look at 991s, you can look at all of them, and you know that is the Carrera, that is the Porsche.
So the front leftist, tell you what, he gave that a good nudge. That front left looks pretty second hand at the moment, and that's the.
Those parts are designed to work certain ways, and as soon as you put inertia the wrong way, they snap. And it's just inertia going the wrong way on those things. They're made to be light and fast and all of that, and designed to do certain things. And as soon as you try and do it the other way, yep, those things snap pretty quickly.
I'd be just looking at the checkbook, going, ouch.
Yeah, as a dad that's got a son racing, your first question is
so here is the replay. Now, just probably go back past that first group. You'll see a puff of smoke and a real twitch, and it'll be a tag. So the Davidson the Neil Porsche gets clipped, and Davidson just goes, basically T-bones him, just like that. Yet, how strong was that Porsche? Because it's back out on the track. So it was a good old little T-bone, but the Chevrolet Corvette came off second best.
So there's the Wolfbrook car. He's gone round the outside of the accident to avoid the accident, and then had a little spin there when he's trying to get back on the track. So that's what happened to him. Avoided accident, then just coming off that wet grass because there's still a lot of water around. Just had a little spin there, and that's why he's at the back of the field. So we've seen that too in that action replay.
Did the Buffalo girls round the outside? Round the outside, yeah. Come on, you had to let me do that at least once today.
Oh, if anyone does the move around the outside, you are more than welcome to bring that in. Turn one here. Like turn one at Pukekohe was.
Oh, wow.
That is a move to make. If you go too wide round one, it is a big move to make here. I've tried it. I've felt what it's like on exit when you try it, and it is exciting.
So still getting the car off track. It's on the high up, so we won't be too far away from a restart in this second 1 hour race here at Teretonga Park Raceway in the Deep South, and just out of the city of Invercargill. This is round 2 of the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series. Stephen McIver, Mark Mallard with the call. Steffi in the pits doing all the job and getting the goss that we need to know and what's actually going on when things happen. We're brought to you by Allied 24/7 Fuel, Mobil 1 and Michelin Motorsport. So there is a worse for wear Corvette on the back of the Hiab, so we won't be too far away now from a restart in this second 1 hour race.
Yeah, 1 to 2 laps probably, maybe 1 lap, but possibly 2, because we've got to get that crane off. They'll shoot it down the back road here and not do the full track, but probably 2 laps under safety car before we're back running.
Worth noting that if you're watching this from outside of New Zealand on Pits TV, the weather in the Deep South in the last 72 hours has been horrific. There's been flooding around the place, and in certain parts of the track you can still see quite heavy patches of water. But the most encouraging thing is we have been able to get underway and race for the second round of what is in the short form called SUDEC, the South Island Endurance Series. So car 185 has gone back in and out for a second time. That's the car that of Marty Neal, that Porsche GT3 Cup car that got T-boned. He's back out on the track and attempting to catch up to the pack so we can get underway again. But still under yellow. And the Hiab's not exactly moving at pace. So one might suggest one more lap.
Definitely one more lap here as he sort of gets through. And he'll cross across the track right now.
Are you excited about the Super Sprint Series, the start of the Super Sprint Series, November 17, 18 in Taupo, and then we get into the TRS in January?
Oh, it's my favourite time of the year, motorsport season. We're really looking forward to it in our family. Thomas has been out testing and getting faster for the 86. I think we're going to have a really good, 20 plus cars in that championship.
When you look back at Thomas's year, his first year, as an anger you might say in the 86s, huge learning curve, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we threw a 15-year-old kid into the wolves. Really, that series is so tough, and yeah, he picked himself up and really drove himself towards the front. We had some pretty hard rounds early in the season, and yeah, we worked a lot with Callum Hedge and driver training and the race. We started working with a team called Race Lab, and that just really turned him around when we had a professional outfit with them.
I must say, for a 15-year-old, he took the knocks pretty well, and every time I saw him at the racetracks, he was always up.
Yeah.
You could sense when he had a bad day, but he would always bounce back pretty quick, and I think that's the sign of someone that is getting to understand the craft.
Well, I think he loves being in a race car, and it's pretty hard to have a bad day in a race car is probably better day than most people at work. But he definitely has the attitude of get back in the car and make it better the next day, and that showed through the whole season. So we're really proud of how he was. But
so the pace car, is it going to be released? Lights are still on. So are we going to have to go run one more lap? Lights are still on the pace car. So here comes the Corvette on the back of the Hiab. T-bone, look at that. They gave it a good nudge. That left front tyre not looking healthy at all. So one more lap under safety car. No, lights are out. Blink of an eye. Catch it. Jordan Mickles in the Mark II Mustang on pole. And we are green and go for the resumption of this 1 hour race, classes 2 and 3. As they battle between Adam Julian and Mana Melzimak. Going into turn 1, Melzimak on the inside and does get the job done ahead of Adam Julian in the R8.
Yeah, great battles there through the pack as we work through turn 1, and there as Melzmack has made that move with a great start. He got the jump off the start line, and Whitaker there right behind Eaton Hodgson's dropped back a spot behind Whitaker, who is starting to put pressure onto Julian there as we see the Porsche battle there raging, but out front.
The Mark II Mustang of Jordan Mickles. Now that's, you sometimes look at these classes, it's almost an unfair advantage when you've got that beautifully naturally aspirated V8 against your flat sixes.
But Jordan's making it work with just a lot of skill level here. He doesn't maybe have the downforce, but he's definitely got some horsepower.
And horsepower was right.
Well, this is a horsepower track. I mean, like she's a big long straight here, and to get out of that last corner well is important as we see him race by. And he's got that gap. He'll be hoping for Melzmack to wait and hold up Julian, because Julian was very close in qualifying there. So that battle at the front for second place with that Audi right behind the Porsche is one that's going to rage for a little while here, as Julian's going to want to get back in front because he was quicker in qualifying.
Even in a 1 hour race, how hard are the R8s on tyres?
Most of them will, that are running Michelin will have no problems here with the. Wayne brings down a great spec of tyre that can last the 1 hour without a problem. So most of these guys will get the 1 hour without any problems at all on a good Michelin tyre. All
right, Jordan Mickles already posting the fastest lap, with the best being a 58.109. So that's pretty quick around here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Mana Melzmack coming under a little bit of a threat from Adam Julian in that Audi R8 GT3. But these Manthey Racing Porsches, they are beautifully prepared, and the improvement that Mana Melzmack has shown in the last 12 months. He's a competent race, but he said going into turn 1, little attempt by Julian to put pressure on Melzmack. Melzmack holds him off going into turn 1.
Yeah, it was a good move by Julian, moving him in the mirrors, trying to put him into a spot that's going to give a disadvantage through that corner. But that Porsche, Manthey Racing Porsche, really seems to get through turn 1 very well. But it was nice by Julian down the straight, moving him in the mirrors.
So just updating early days, 14 minutes gone in our 1 hour race for classes 2 and 3. Mickles, Melzmack, Julian, Whitaker and Hodgson are your top 5 cars.
Yeah, this battle for second is absolutely roaring, which is good. That little gap back there to Matt Whitaker, but these battle for second seems to have, again, we see the different cars with different strengths as we look further back. That's the Martin Dippy Mitre 10 car, I believe it is there. They're in 6th place battling with Whitaker and Hodgson there sitting in the tow. That's an older spec car doing a great job staying with Whitaker, with one of the newest spec Porsche Cup cars there is.
Yes, you mentioned Dippy. I was thinking about Alan Dippy in round 1 having a horrible day out one of his Porsches and binning one of his Porsches early, and my old mate Greg Murphy had to step in and fill in the seat.
Yeah, he seemed to hate having to get into the GT3 car. That was terrible for him. And then his son actually took over the Renault he was going to be in. So there was a family shuffle going on in the pits.
Yeah, I'm sure Murph would quite enjoy that GT3, as we see Adam Julian still hunting Mana Melzmack in that Manthey Racing Porsche.
Dippy is all over Hodgson. And that's young Eaton Hodgson. As he said, he's got one of the older spec cars, so he is driving that well. I believe he's looking to try and do some Porsche running in Australia next year. That's why he's getting his miles up here in one of these older spec cars, getting himself ready for the Sprint Challenge that is run over there, with currently led by Marco Giltrap, and I think Zach second or third in the championship.
Ronan Murphy, although Ronan Murphy's last round had a bit of a mare in the last round, really hurt himself points-wise.
He got taken out on the first corner, and with a progressive grid that killed him for the rest of the weekend. So I think he was 3rd place when he got taken out in the first lap, and got put back to the back of the grid, and then had to keep on starting back further in.
But again, Mark, another example of young men. I mean, Marco Giltrap, again, another one under the radar. He and Chris Vanderdrift leading the Super Trofeo Asia Series. In fact, they've won. They've won the series already, and the amount of time that he is getting in tin tops. And here's the funny thing about Marco Giltrap, as we see Julian continue to hound Mana Melzmack. I said to him about last season during the Super Sprint Series, I said, what do you want to do? You know, is it no? He says, I want to be an endurance racer. Quite clear. Now, a lot of kids want to be Formula 1 racers like Liam Lawson. He was quite clear and said, no, I want to drive tin tops. I want to be an endurance racer, not V8s. I want to be an endurance racer. And I thought it was almost an answer you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, well, and he's been selected in the Lamborghini Junior Driver Program as well, and like a bit of a shootout situation will happen after the last round at Valencia. The Asian Series has their last round coming up, and what they do with the World Super Trofeo Series is they have all of them come. So the Asian Series, the European Series, and I think one of the other national series, all are in Valencia for a final round, and then there's a young driver shootout just after that. So another Kiwi that is absolutely kicking the doors down on the world stage.
And being fortunate enough just to work hard and ply the trade.
Oh, Marco's one of the hardest workers of the young kids I've seen come through. I've watched him through 86, and the way he progressed is something that I'd be proud for my son.
Yeah, Jordan Mickles comfortably leading this. Whoa, hang on a minute.
Grant Sylvester.
Sylvester takes to the water.
And that puddle's going to be hard to get out of.
Well, you can see him trying to get out, but the rear wheels are spinning. That's Grant Sylvester in the 666 Ford Mustang out of Christchurch. All that steam, all just because he went through the water in a hot motor, nothing more, nothing less. We saw Scott O'Donnell do that in the HRW Hydrogen TCR in the first race. So the question remains, is he in a safe position, or will we get a safety car? Safety car lights are on. I think I'll just go back in because it's quite hot in this car. I'll cool it down. A little roll back into the water. So safety car is out for the second time. We've had one on lap 1. We're now on lap 12 and into the 19th minute of this 1 hour race.
He's opened the door because what's happened is all that steam's probably hit his windscreen. He's got no idea what he can see anywhere. So I think that's why he's opened that door, because he's trying to figure out where he is right now. I've had this happen in the car, and when you can see nothing, it's... Yeah, so that's probably why we're all sitting on the outside. Why are you going that way? That's why he's opened the door. All that steam is right now on a windscreen, and if you've ever got into a car and you can't see and you've had to stop and wipe the windscreen, well, that's what he's done. And if you've got belts on, you can never reach the screen to clean it, I can promise you. As he's trying to get out,
yeah.
We're under safety car though, so they will come and help him pretty shortly if he just stops.
Yeah, I was about to say, pal, just give it up for the moment and let us get it out so we can get back at racing under green.
We'll hit with the car is waiting to hook him up, but they will not go closer until he stops because danger, obviously. But yeah, he does. Well, he probably can't even see that car sitting there waiting to help him, if you know what I mean. That's how bad it will be in the car right now. But he's not given up on it.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say this is almost a comedy show now, watching him do this, and there's the car there waiting to say, mate, I can get you out. I'll tell you what, you just back into the big puddle, because that's what it looks like he's doing. So we're under safety. The 666 Mustang Grant Sylvester now well and truly...
Has he given up now? I think this...
No, he's still trying to work his way out.
They can get a message through to him on race radio maybe to get him to stop that, and then yep, here comes the car right now. So I think once you should see that nice four-wheel drive right in front of him. Nope, he's still trying to get it out.
I think one of the marshals needs to say just there you go. Just we've got the back end here of what happened here. Just have a quick look at this and see what happened to Grant Sylvester. There is so he hit that little bit of the water, and then that was too much. Straight through, sliding, and lost control. So he took a little bit of water first.
So we've got to watch for that over there at that corner, that big puddles. I haven't seen that all day at turn 5.
Yeah, turn 5 heading into turn 6. So that's the be wary of that puddle. And he must have either... Let's see if we can catch this again.
Yeah, well, he's definitely hit that. There's definitely a puddle on that inside. So we're going to see some different lines through there. Here's the end of it.
Yeah, that's a really good call. I'm trying to figure out. I think it's not actually on that turn. That was prior to that, just prior to that turn. He put the left into the
a
wet.
Puddle.
Yeah,
there was definitely a spray. We saw a spray come up there. So that's going to be something caution for all these drivers because sometimes what happens is the track, what we call leaks. So
man, it's sprung a leak if you look around.
Yeah, and we've hit the 20-minute mark, so you can start with the pit stops too.
So first pit stop done, correct. The 20 to 40 minute mark is when you have to make your compulsory pit stop. It has to be a 45-second pit stop, regardless of whether you change driver or not.
So that was the Lindsay O'Donnell McLaren that we saw there, as they're all going to head towards pits.
Yes, the 570 is GT4. Got to love those McLarens in race trim. So here we're counting down, waiting to go. First of our pit stops in this 1 hour endurance classes 2 and 3. On the right-hand side, Grant Sylvester still sitting in the, well, probably not singing in the rain, but sitting in the wet.
Everyone's come in. We've seen the safety car go by with no cars behind, just the 185 now. So we're going to see them all come into pit lane, as you can see in the background of that screen, as the McLaren gets to head off, because he's pitted straight away instead of waiting to get behind the safety car. These guys have all done it from behind the safety car.
So Mana Malisamak in. This is the Dippy Mitre 10 Porsche coming in as well.
They've got the blowers there, just getting air into the car to keep them cool during the pit stop, because they don't want to have any problems just getting the airflow staying in there while they do the 45-second stop.
Encouraging signs. There's the Sylvester Mustang being towed out by the safety crews here at Teretonga Park Raceway. The interesting thing, will he get that thing back up and going? We saw that happen before with Scott O'Donnell. He comfortably got up and going. So
well, the car never really stopped. We couldn't. Well, we had to get some marshal to tell him to stop. So I can't see why it doesn't keep on going, because he definitely thought it was still running. You know, like I think he spent about 3 minutes in the puddle trying to get it out of it. So. Yeah, definitely. I do not think the problem running is out comes our leaders out of the pit stops. Jordan Mickles is still in the lead. Adam Julian has jumped to second. We've had a change in third place there, actually. The second and third place runners, because the Malmazet car, Mana's not come out of the pits. I don't know. I haven't seen him come out. Oh, there he is. He's back in fifth place, so he might have got caught up with a stop there, as the Sylvester car definitely is running. But yeah, there has been a change there for second place with.
So good news for Grant Sylvester in his Mustang after being beached in the water, back out. Door's still open though, so he's heading into the pits. Whether he continues or not, we will find out. If he doesn't continue, we'll get Steffi into that one just to understand why he hasn't continued. Still under safety car.
So again, because we've had the leaders behind the safety car and then we've had pit stops, you're going to see different cars at the front than the leaders. So we're going to talk about our leader, Jordan Mickles, who's in third place in the queue. So we're going to be looking at the third place car in the queue. They will keep these two cars behind them. They don't pick up the leader once they've picked up the leader once. So we're going to see Adam Julian with a couple of cars to pass, so that could be interesting. Adam Julian and Mickles with a couple of cars to pass, so that could be interesting into one. That could be the change in the race lead there, because these two slower GT4 cars, if they get to the first corner before them, they will be a lot slower through it.
Yeah, one of those being the 58 of Steve Scholes, that beautiful Ginetta 56, G56. Always a crazy car to watch, but gee, they're just, when you get up close to them, they're a beautiful car.
Yeah, really well built. They do a lot of junior racing over in England. They have 3 different model specs type thing. Oh, well, I think it's 4, and you can sort of start at the beginning slowest cars.
Lights are out on the pace car, and we are going to be back and running in the 2-hour race here at Teretonga Park Raceway. And this is the Class 2 and 3 1-hour race in the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series.
Lindsay O'Donnell's not done the start right there. He hasn't waited.
No, he hasn't. And now we are green, and it's go. Racing resumes. Lindsay O'Donnell and the Ginetta of Steve Scholes there, but they will be hunted down by Jordan Mickles and Adam Julian, who are effectively leaders 1 and 2 in this race. They're just out of sync at the moment because of the pit stops. O'Donnell was the first one in for the pit stop when it clicked over 20 minutes, but you just watch. Here comes Jordan Mickles now, right on the tailpipe of Scholes. Then behind him is Julian. Julian now getting past O'Donnell.
And then you got Hodgson. Yeah, that's Hodgson right there as well. So that those slower cars are slowing up the battle, but the second place guys are getting caught up as badly as Jordan is, and so there is a little gap that is forming to Jordan Mickles.
So Mickles on the tail of Steve Scholes in the Ginetta, coming through down to turn 7.
It looks like a change in... Oh, no, they made it back with Julian.
So onto the front straight. This should be a straight-off drag to the finish, or should I say to the bottom end in turn 1. And a pass goes
Whitaker's on the outside of Hodgson as they come down to 1 right now, and Hodgson all seats the place there. That's a smart move to let that happen there into 1. That battle for third is raging there. So you got Julian, you got Whitaker, and you got Hodgson all battling for second place, and a gaggle of Porsches behind there with Malmazak right there as well.
And you are right, Malmazak has dropped back in 3 positions now, in P6 in that Manthe Racing Porsche. So I'd be watching Malmazak. I think he'll put the hammer down and put all sorts of pressure on the likes of Matt Whitaker and Eden Hodgson.
You're wondering he might have got blocked into his pit bay or something like that, because they're all set pit stops, so they should all come out in the same order they go in. But he has dropped 4 or so spots because he was second going into that stop. As the battle rages there. Oh, a touch there into the last corner as they go through. Good battle there. That's the Southland Fence car that had a problem early in the race, getting a little tap there into the last corner by a 5th place runner of Glenn Brazier there, it looks like.
So as it stands right now, as we head to in the 28th minute of this 1 hour, Jordan Mickles, Steve Scholes, Adam Julian, Matt Whitaker, Eden Hodgson make up your top 5.
Scholes is battling, still got guys coming through as the order comes through. As we'll get up our race results there, and Scholes will be losing these spots. He's taken advantage of a good pit stop window to get himself up there, but he will be dropping back quickly as Julian makes a move, I think, right now on him into second place. And look at these Porsches come through as Malmazak puts all sort of pressure on Hodgson, who gets sideways as he comes out of there. They are trying to go a little bit wide there. They are avoiding a puddle or something we saw on the inside that caused problems for Sylvester. As they battle out through the last corner, Malmazak runs wide there and gets off the grass. So that's dropped him back from Hodgson. Hodgson's got some clear air now to hit some racing lines and try and chase down Matt Whitaker.
Well, Malmazak having all sorts of bother as he heads toward turn 1, trying to get past that Ginetta. Finally does the job and clears the Ginetta of Steve Scholes. And now starts the chase again, because he has dropped 3 places from the start of this race, which has already had a safety car, 2 safety cars in the first half hour. And we're just about to clock over that half hour here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Steve Brooks under pressure from the Dippy Porsche.
Yeah, we've had all of our pit stops though have happened, so this is a 32-minute fight to the end now as Jordan Mickles is flashing his lights as he gets past some of these slower runners. There is Grant Sylvester.
Grant Sylvester, of course, and then there's the 185 Porsche, which was one of the reasons we had that safety car. And that was Marty Neal's car. They got T-boned by the Corvette, but he's back and running. Been in the pits a couple of times. So there is your leader, Jordan Mickles, and the Mark II Mustang. Out of sequence we are at the moment, but behind him will be in P2 will be Adam Julian in that Porsche GT3. Excuse me, that Audi R8 GT3.
He's sort of got a little gap now onto Whitaker behind him, so they've got through these lap traffics and he's able to get a little gap, but he's lost a lot of time on Mickles.
Yeah, a little bit different too, because the lap traffic here is actually quick car. They're quick cars. We're not talking about the classes 4 and 5 as you refer to them as the home builds. These are still quick cars. The traffic they're going to have to get past.
Oh yeah, that's a quick Mustang there. That's a nice big. Oh, there's a little. Whitaker tried to make a look to the inside, and Sylvester hadn't seen him, so he shoots up at the last corner and gets the move done as he gets sideways out of that corner. That's the non-optimal line as Hodgson's sitting there behind him chasing him, but Malmazak is there too, lights ablaze. They're all trying to get through this back market traffic, but Malmazak has caught up that differential of what he lost on the last lap through the last corner.
So those Porsches that are chasing down Jordan Mickles really are moving. There's Mana Malmazak trying to catch up to the 28 of young caddy boy Ayrton Hodgson, who has just come out of a car in the 1 hour in the classes 4 and 5, jumped into this beautifully prepared Porsche GT3 Cup car, the 991.1. So this will be a real test for young Ayrton Hodgson with Mana Malmazak, who'll be all over the back of them as they go through the top end of the field, turns 4 and 5.
Yeah, Ayrton's just finished the Elite Motorsport Academy actually, and a lot of fitness work they do with that, so that's probably helping him through this. He's a driver that's come from sprint cars actually, and the speedway side of the family, and then tried the circuit and done it, just doing a great job.
And the Elite Motorsport can be run by Motorsport New Zealand is one of those sort of, again I say it, unless you're in the motorsport community you don't know about it, but it's the national body giving back to young drivers to basically turn them and make them understand what it means to be a professional driver.
Yeah, definitely. It just shows them the different levels with food, preparation, the mental side of the game, everything pretty much out of the car. As we're seeing some great battles here as they come through the slower cars there, Dippy is chasing down that Wolfbrook car.
Yeah, that Dippy Porsche just slid beautifully under the 185 of Marty Neal as the Porsche battle continues. And this is the huge improvement in motorsport in this country. And I got to say, the amount of Porsche racing we're seeing now, I personally think it's magnificent to watch because you get such good, close racing. It is dependent on the driver, of course, but there's not too much between them.
No, the cars are similar. We've got three different generation spec cars there together. But there's some really good battles going on there as they work their way through. You see the Janetta, I think he's taken advantage of that pit top strategy to lead Class 3. So he's leading the Class 3 battle. That's for the GT4 and a bit smaller engine capacity cars. But those are still quick cars. A GT4 car around here is doing just like a minute one sort of lap time. So that's fast.
So that's Scholes up against Neal as they go through turn 1 here at Teretonga Park. It's a nice sweeping corner too. It's a speed corner, yeah?
It's a confidence corner. It's one that you can brake later and later and later. You sort of start at the sort of 100, 150 metre board, and then you get to the 100, and then you get to the Marshall post that's there. That's about the 75, and if you go past there, there's a blue peg, and that's when you're really on it. When you see the blue peg and that's your braking point, yeah. But there's some really good battles. There's the GT4 battle further back there with the home-built R8 as well. That's got a TCR motor put into it.
That's right. That's weird. The 2-litre little engine in an R8 just doesn't make sense. It's almost sacrilege.
Wow.
Oh, you get my drift though, right?
No. I totally understand, but they built it and it runs good in the class, and it's a cool car. It looks awesome, and hey, look, it's sponsored by a brewery, so you know what I mean. Like, it'd probably be one of my favourite cars in the grid, to be honest with you. When it's got a brewery on the side, Stephen.
I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to let you. I'm just going to let you hang out on that one.
Well, no, they're good people. Like James Patterson ran in the Super Sprint in a GT4 Porsche, and just. Every time he gets out of the car, he's smiling, and that's what we like to see out of races that are just having fun, and they're enjoying it. As the battle with the Wolfbrook, the Dippy car, there's, I think right in front of them is Brazier there, so that's that battle for sixth place, Brazier, Brooks, Dippy, and then there's Alan Dippy there behind in the fourth of them.
So it's the Dippy brothers in their Porsches with Steve Brooks, who will be out later in the 3-hour race with Bill Ridings and Andrew Wade, and they're brand new. Well, it's not brand new, but it's pretty new. Their R8 GT3 Audi, which they are loving and drove to success in the last weekend as well.
Yeah, they're driving it well, and with weight in that car, that is going to be an overall competitor for the win.
Well, the question you remain is, where do you put Andrew Wade? What stint do you put him in?
I think he's got to go second, because in this series, if you qualify, you've got to race. You've got to start the race. So from my understanding, it was Steve Brooks out there in the car for qualifying, so he's going to have to start. So it is going to be Fillmore versus Brooks, and then Reed versus Waite. And I know Waite loves hearing that name, Reed. They've been competing for years, since Mount Wellington go-kart days type thing. So he'll love to be out there in a very similar car, ready for the battle, because last year we had a great battle between those two front GT3 cars.
Oh, crikey, yes. But I got to say, when you look at Johnny Reed hop on a race car, and even if the race car's under pressure, and what he can do with a race car is just beautiful to watch.
Stunning. And
can pedal, as they say.
They definitely can pedal. From the A1GP days on through, he has been top quality. But we're getting these Porsche battles going through. As you see your second place guy, Malmazak has made it up. There, he's passed Whitaker, and Hodgson's dropped back a little bit as well. So Whitaker has just been passed by Malmazak there for third place overall in this race. He's made his way back from that pit stop problem, all the way back to third now.
Jordan Mickle's best time, how about this? A 57.025. That's the best race lap at the moment, as he leads the race by 5.8 seconds from Adam Julian in that Audi R8. And those numbers will change as they go past the sensors. Again, you'll see Mana Malazmak pop himself into P3, where he was running after the first couple of laps and post the first safety car. And Whitaker will drop back into P4. So that's confirmation, and he's sitting 8.2 seconds behind the leader, which is Jordan Mickles, who's doing a sterling job in this Mark II Mustang, and just leaving the field in his wake. They're going through Castrol now. He's just come through Castrol, and Julian's just come through Castrol as well, along with Mana Melismak. But this is a heck of a car. And the other one I'm looking forward to seeing at some stage, that the new Mark GT that's being raced around by Alan Chester, I think it is.
Yeah, Nick Chester. It's missing
me.
this round. I'm not sure what's happened for this round. It was absolutely flying at Ruapuna and was one of the fastest car in this class, actually, but then had caught up with a back marker. So I'm not sure if they just couldn't get the parts out of Australia or what, but definitely was doing a great job and was the fastest car at Ruapuna.
And beautifully prepared car. And I'm glad they've let it in. I mean, the South Island have become more of an open series about allowing different cars in, and that's the encouraging thing. They haven't get their rules too tight, so we sort of have, shall we say, feels that are a little lopsided.
Well, it's just got to be 1,250 kilos and basically have 4 wheels and a roof is now the ruling that you've got to, and it's certainly limited on size of petrol tank. It's very limited on the rules, very much so. But yeah, petrol tank size, got to be 1,250 kilos and got to have a roof. So it's not too hard to figure out the rule book.
In the 38th minute here at Teretonga Park Raceway, this is the 1 hour race in classes 2 and 3 for the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series, and we have Jordan Mickles still leading in that Mark II Mustang from Adam Julian in the R8 GT3, and then Mana Melismak in the Manthey Racing Porsche, followed by a gaggle of Porsches, including Whitaker, Hodson, Brazier, Brooks, and the Dippy brothers.
You're all getting past the GT4 McLaren there, so that was tough, and the little gaps there have formed. But that group has stayed together for since this safety car. They've been really close, this group.
This is a good mid-pack battle. This is a nice little battle pack, and Steve Brooks will be using this to get ready for that 3-hour race, which is timed to go at approximately 1:30 this afternoon local time here at Teretonga Park Raceway in Invercargill. So if you're around the world, figure that one out. We can make it probably a little bit easier for you. It's due in about an hour and 40. That's when we will run the 3-hour race. And Johnny Reid and Sam Fillmore close to actually winning the National Endurance Championship too, because they were pretty strong in the 2 rounds of the North Island Series, won the last round at Ruapuna, and if you think they could potentially wrap up the National Endurance Series.
Yes, because it's 2 rounds in the North, and then you get to pick your best 2 rounds in the South Island. Yep. So if they sort of come top 3 today, they will have been the national champion as well.
So there's a little bit on the line today, Mark.
There's a lot on the line every time you go out in a car race, Stephen.
Wow.
There's always something on the line, whether it's your pride, your wallet, whatever it is. There's definitely every time you put that helmet on, and there is definitely a battle there.
So Mana Melismak caught up to James Patterson in that R8, Audi R8, the 2-litre Audi R8. So just holding him up a little bit. Finally, we'll get him on the inside. Will he? No, just a little bit cautious, Mana Melismak, as they come through turns 5 and 6. Oh, and we've got a spinner, you might say.
Dippy. I think that's in that same area. I think it might be this similar puddle or something.
Just trying to check which Dippy that is.
Martin, I think it's in the Mitre 10 one.
So we'll double check that one, see if that brings out a safety car. Already had 2 safety cars so far in this race. One at the start, identical to the 1-hour endurance races for classes 4 and 5. And then we had the Mustang of Grant Sylvester take to the water, pretending it was a boat. But this is Mana Melismak. That's the 747 car of Matt Whitaker behind him. So those are places P3 and 4. Adam Julian in P2 and Jordan Mickles still running. It's Alan Dippy in the 911. That's actually number 911.
That's the one that was off. That's the one that was our spinner, was Alan Dippy. We haven't seen if he's got it back underway, but we presume so, because we've stayed green racing here, and the Pitts media team probably would have stayed with it a bit longer if it was still there. So should have cleared up, and that means hopefully we keep on racing under green, because we love green racing.
Less than 20 minutes to go in the 2-hour race, as Mana Melismak chases down Adam Julian, but the gap is quite a large one. It's about 4-ish seconds behind. He's 11.2 seconds off the leader. But it just depends what happens to the lap check. There is the Porsche that came off of Alan Dippy. He's back in racing, so that's confirmation so that he's back and green.
He was chasing the family rivalry. I think might have got too much there. He's tried too hard and just made a little error, and that's all it is in these cars, is the smallest error can put you off.
Speaking of the Dippy brothers, have you ever been to Wanaka and seen their rather large tractor bulldozer truck museum?
I've heard it's massive.
It is unbelievable, and they can tell a story. I tell you what, and if you are in the region of Wanaka, just ask about the Dippy Museum. And the one thing that strikes you after having been told some magnificent stories is it actually shows how, it's a story of how the South Island was built, basically, and all the machinery that you see in front of you, somewhere along the line, had a part to play in building the roads and infrastructure in the South Island. I'm talking going way back, and they've even got their first ever mini caterpillar they used to start pulling out punga plants to start their original business, which was in the garden centre business.
Yeah,
it's like a mini cat, like, you know, something like you would put in your backyard and pretend you play. But it's what they got. And they've got a hot rod tractor which blows flames. You would love that.
Oh, you know,
because you love toys, right?
Yes,
you love simple things.
I'm a toy collector.
But I would highly recommend, if you're in the Wanaka region, ask for the Dippy Museum, and you will be blown away. And it's a monster. It's like 2 warehouses long and then some.
Jordan Mickles there getting caught up with the back markers with the GT4 runner. I think he's still leading Class 3. Steve Scholes there. He's just got by him and now getting past the...
Marty Neal in the Porsche GT3 that had the incident in the opening lap. So Jordan Mickles just doing it by the numbers in minute 43, lap 35 of this 1 hour race here at Teretonga Park Raceway. He hasn't essentially been threatened. As you said before, Mark, this is a horsepower track. He's using all the horsepower of that beautiful car, the Mark II Mustang, to just lead the field away. So really it's going to be a battle for the minors between Julian Malmazak and maybe in Whitaker. Maybe that's that P3 position between Malmazak and Whitaker is the one that's really going to be on the line.
Yeah, it looks like Glenn Brazier has had a little issue as well, because he's dropped back a couple spots. We had that battle with the 4 cars with the 2 Dippy brothers, but right now still Steve Scholes leading the battle in the GT4 class of the McLaren's the other one that's in that battle there as well. But he's going well, Steve. He had a problem last year at the Timaru round. He had a big accident, so it's great to see him back out there and doing so well in this new car.
I'll be honest with you, I was calling that race with Andrew Waite of all people, and I saw that race happen, and I saw him come out of the medical centre as well. His wife was incredibly upset, and I thought, that man's never going to race again. His wife's going to say, you're not doing this again, because he backed that car in at pace into the tyre barrier. I mean, it basically spun, and to walk away shows, first of all, the incredible safety that we have in the sport that we have, but the fact that he walked out of that, he was shaken, trust me. And I thought, and then I saw him at the last Super Sprint Series back racing. I'm going, you're kidding, right? And so a credit to him for wanting to continue on, but sometimes I think these drivers have a little bit of cray-cray.
Well, no, we were a little... well, sorry, I shouldn't speak for everyone else.
Okay, speak for yourself then.
I definitely have a little cray-cray going on, but I was actually in that race, and I was going through the same section and looked to my left-hand side as I sort of saw the accident happen. And the whole front of the car actually came off, but you couldn't see that from where I was, and all you could see was what I thought was a car about 15 metres in the air. And yeah, the radio message back to the crew when I'd seen that was not clean for television, let's just say that.
Yeah, and there was real concern, Mark, at that stage. And in the situations like that, television just goes away until it's all sorted. But man, I'll be blunt with you, it was frightening.
Oh, we red flag all on the grid. Every driver was just asking each other, do you think he's all right? You know, what did you see? You know, like we all just concerned. In an event like this, we all become brothers again. All that racing stuff of, I was trying to get past you, you blocked me, it was totally gone. It was all just, I hope he's all right. That was big, like that scared us.
It was also the same meeting that the Steve Brooks Porsche took an absolute hammering as well, because I went back to the truck afterwards to have a look, and it was messy, and they were done. They did their season and pretty much. So.
Yeah, I think that was together. I think they touched each other and then off it went. So yeah, I didn't see, I was in the race car, so I had to watch Pits Media to have actually a look at what happened afterwards. But yeah, it was definitely a scary moment there, but great to see him out and dominating leading in this class so far with a great pit stop strategy to put himself up there. So really smart of him to get that pit stop done. But we see the battle coming behind him is a real battle there with Malmazek and Whitaker.
So Malmazek gets past Steve Skoll, followed through by the 747 of Whitaker. And then they finally get past through Neil as well. So they are away and racing. So this is the battle really for position 3 as we see your leader, Jordan Mickles, coming past, start, finish again as we head into the 47th minute, or closing in on the 48th minute of this 1 hour race. Clean the back marker up, and they are now pretty much, everybody's almost, am I right in saying they're almost a lap down?
No, that's as soon as it comes across the line, it'll show the lap's not there. So you'll see that. So you're seeing he's about 8 seconds behind. So you'll see that regularly. You'll see the 1 lap until you see them come across the line. So all those guys that are saying 2 laps, definitely 1 lap down. I think it's down to about Martin Dippy. They've lapped 2. Glenn Brazier, sorry, they've lapped 2. So you'll see those laps come off as they go, and you'll see the gaps come up there at 13 seconds. So good battle there between Malmazek and Whitaker. There for 3rd is the closest battle we've got going on right now, as Hodson comes across the line shortly. But we see the battle. Scholes is there. Then you're seeing the Neil car there. He's been on TV a lot. And then the Wolfbrook car of Brooks, who's I think our first runner that's a lap down.
So here is your leader in the Mark II Mustang, Jordan Mickles, doing it by the numbers. Was on pole position. Had a little bit of a slowdown after that first lap safety, but has gone on and continues to go on. And he's probably not even looking in his rear vision mirror as to everybody else. He's just keeping it solid. It's eyes forward for him. And there's Steve Brooks in the Wolfbrook Porsche, sitting currently in P6. Gets past Neil in the Porsche that was involved in that opening lap safety car incident where he got T-boned by the Chevrolet Corvette of Bruce Davidson. And we've got a spin. That's James Patterson, 24 on the Audi R8 Turbo, and he's on fire. So there's, well, okay, let's not be careful. There was fire coming out the back of there.
I think it might have a weird exhaust place. Yeah, it was an exhaust. It's just a weird placement because it's a different car and engine, and so it was on fire. It started again. Okay, I feel better now, Stephen. I feel better.
I don't feel good whenever I see fire in a motor car, but that's a spinner, and that will bring out the safety car. Just waiting to see if he can get it restarted, and safety car is up. So another safety.
Oh, 5-minute shootout, I think, Stephen. 5 to 7 minutes shootout. Here we come.
Man, you're calling it early. They haven't even got off. They might get off the track quickly. It could be a lot longer. In fact, it might even get restarted.
Oh, he's just getting moving in front of the lead. Oh, in front of Brooks.
So Patterson gets his Audi R8 onto the grass and going again. So still under yellow. Safety car's come out. The Mobil 1 safety car has come out in front of Steve Brooks.
So what they have to do is they have to position the safety car. So it is going to take a couple minutes because we need to get the leader, and then we're going to get the pack behind us. So we're going to actually create a bit of a race for everyone who's on the lead lap because they're all going to get behind. So it is going to take a couple minutes, even though that car has recovered and driving right now down the straight as we see. We have a process to get the leader behind the safety car. Once that safety car is called, it's always going to come out. It's unfair if we call it out and someone slows down thinking there's a safety car and someone else keeps up to speed. So the process is we do the same thing. That's what Motorsport New Zealand's founded on, is doing the same process at the same tracks all around the country. So we've got the process, so they'll get the leaders behind them. That's going to take a couple minutes, but that's going to add to our excitement because it's going to shorten up that run to the line. Tyres aren't going to be an issue. It's going to be race brains on and let's go.
Most important, you can't pass under safety car, so that's the other thing that drivers have to be reminded of as we head into the 51st minute. Clicked over 50, so under 10 minutes to roll in the 1 hour for classes 2 and 3 here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Happy days for those snapping the shots in the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series, brought to you by Allied 24/7 Fuel, Mobil 1 and Michelin Motorsport. That's Grant Sylvester, who spent some time in the water, quite a lot of time in the water actually, was almost playing in the water as we remember what he was doing, but Mark quite succinctly explained that he was fogged up and probably didn't know what the heck was going on. But we finally got him back on it and racing, and he sits in dead last in the 666 Mustang. So there is your Mobil 1 safety car. It's picked up Jordan Mickles, the race leader, but right behind him now, Adam Julian will be going, yep, love me a safety car.
Oh, he does, and he's been wanting to get behind Mickles, but off the start, obviously he had a problem with Mana made a move and got by him and sort of, created a block in front, and then after the last safety car, there was a couple of cars between that caused that problem. So this is a true shootout, and while we've just got the safety car on screen and things like that, FIA Volunteers Weekend, so thanks to all the volunteers out there, the backbone of the sport. I mean, none of these guys get to go race. We talk about these Liam Lawsons and we talk about the Shane Van Gisbergens. Well, all you volunteers, you're the ones who get these guys on the track. You're the ones who have allowed them to create their name. So every time you watch it, if you've been a volunteer, please remember you're the one who's got them on the track and letting them have success.
And the one thing I discovered when we were down here last year for the Super Sprint, volunteers have got some of the best stories going around because they see things that we might not necessarily see.
Paul on turn 1, I talked to him. I went to see the volunteers actually. Paul on turn 1, you saw that turn 1 thing. He's been in the same spot since 1990. It was over the other side. They moved the spot. He is always point 1, and he's been since 1990. He's been on that point. So if we see a problem down there, you can just say, hey, Paul, sort it out. And he's been there that long. He knows every sort of process for it.
That just reminds me of a conversation I had with a lady who was, I think, on turn 5 or 6, and they love that one spot for some reason. Has become ingrained in their DNA, and we are green and racing again inside the last 10 minutes of this 1 hour race for class 2 and 3. Julian now, will he be able to challenge Mickles in turn 1? No, he won't, and Mana Melismak though will be hunting Adam Julian. Melismak's had a bit of an up and down day, got caught in the pits, dropped down to P6, now back up in P3. Can he bring that Manthe Racing Porsche home and maybe even give Julian a little bit of a scare in the final parts of this endurance race? Whittaker behind Malmazak. So there's Porsches 3, 4, 5, 6 and racing.
Yeah, some good battles with these Porsches. Different generation specs. So we've got the MR, the 991.2 of Whittaker, and then the older one of Hodgson, who's a bit further back in the pack. But the battle here for second between Julian and Malmazak. We saw it off the start. Malmazak made that move through turn 1. So let's see if he can try and do another move like that on Julian. But it looks like Jordan Mickles has really put a good lap in here, first lap, to try and create a gap and get away.
Well, he's put in a best time already for 56.86, so he keeps dropping his times as this race rolls on, going through turn 1. Malmazak under somewhat of a threat from Whittaker. They've been bouncing back between 3rd and 4th, and Whittaker hanging on, but it's Adam Julian in the R8 GT3 sitting in P2 as they go in the final stages of this 1 hour endurance race. Classes 2 and 3.
Whittaker, great sponsor of Zach Stitchbury actually over in Australia. That gold car that they've got with the Whittaker's name on it on the side there, it's been great for them to support them after supporting his dad Ashley way back in the days. So really good to see that continuation. And it was a senior Whittaker there that was the sponsorship, and now it's the junior side. So it's great that the Whittaker family helping out New Zealand motorsport.
Nice legacy. Just a reminder, the winner of the Class 4 and 5 1 hours, Reece Gould. He did it lights to flag, and he did it in style too, as we see Jordan Mickles, who also started on pole position, could be in a similar position. Could be another lights to flag victory in back-to-back 1 hour races here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Good, clean, even racing between the Porsches, but no one, it seems at this point, is going to haul in that Mark II Mustang of Jordan Mickles. They're coming through turn 1 and now heading towards Castrol. And this is Mana Melamazak in that lovely Manthe Racing Porsche. Gets a lot of coaching from Jono Lester. Be interesting to see if they run the 3 of them in the 3 hour.
No, we've only got 2 because Francois is out. So that's you change your notes since your flight down when you wrote it. You got all your notes done before you came down, and we've had changes this morning. But yeah, Francois 6.
So that is quote unquote. That's one of the Frenchmen you said in the 4 hours. That's Francois Beziac is out.
Francois actually a very good man, and his wife's actually, he even got his wife into racing, and they're taking that car over to the Bathurst 12 hour as we clock down less than 5 minutes to go in this race. And it's spread out a little bit there at the front there with the set battle back to second, but Whittaker's still within shooting range of Malmazak there in 3rd. But yeah, Bathurst 12 hour race is what they're all training for with Jono and stuff in it. That'd be pretty wild to do.
And I know he and his wife too were planning to do the historic Le Mans.
Yes.
And have they raced that yet? I haven't checked. Have they raced that?
I think they're planning on it for next year. I think it's one of those gold projects, if you know what I mean. And I'm not sure, but maybe buying a GT3R to go do Bathurst 12-hour might have delayed it a little bit longer as well. So it's a fantastic thing that they've got, and they're out there doing it. So it's really good.
So that's Mana Melmazak in the Manthey Racing Porsche, sitting in position 3. He has Matt Whitaker hunting him down in the 747 Porsche. Every time I say 747, I think of Jumbo, right?
Think of the plane.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, now the Jumbo is those A380s, Airbuses, which are incredible machines as we concentrate back on the motor racing. Battles in the back of the field too. This looks like it's
the Janetta side by side with a couple of Porsches. That's the Dippy car and the Hodgson car. Hodgson lapping their Dippy. So Hodgson has had a great race there in this the oldest of the Spec Cup cars in this field, and he's done well fighting with these other cars. A young driver really trying hard.
Yeah, well, Ed Hodgson, by the way, came second in round 1 at Ruapuna in this particular race before, and Matt Whitaker won this in round 1 as well. So they'll get good points. But even
it's all about experience for a young driver like Hareton. He's yeah, as I said, his path to head to Australia, he's using this as race miles to head to that Michelin Sprint Cup, and he's doing a great job putting these miles down. As I said, we saw Ronan Murphy do it the year before. We've seen Ryan Wood, who's now a V8 supercar from 2 years ago while we were all locked down in Auckland. He came down here from Wellington, got to do the South Island Endurance Series, got some sponsors behind because he impressed so much, then through to Porsche racing, and then straight into V8 supercars.
What do you think the secret sauce is why Porsche racing is so competitive and so good to watch?
It's the factories behind it, and they make sure that they're all even, and it is down to the driver. Hey, look, there's a few little bars and things you can change, but they are fantastic cars that are reliable, that you go out and you race, and the series are even. This Whitaker spec and the Dippy spec car is what you're seeing with Callum Hedge in Australia, or you're watching in Super Cup over in Australia. In Europe. When you're watching the F1 races and Vanderdrift, who was third, he's using that spec Cup car. So you can go anywhere in the world, drive the same car, get the skill levels up, and then head anywhere in the world and show I can do it. Not so much I've got a checkbook, it's I can do it because I can drive. But out the front.
Inside the last 2 minutes now of this 1 hour race for classes 2 and 3, and that man on the Mark II Mustang, Jordan Mickles, has been peerless in his race. Seen a change too. I think Martin Dippies has jumped in front of Eton Hodgson, has he? Because I saw the pass, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Look, I think that's the Alan Dippy car that was a lap down on Hodgson. So that was the one that went off and lost a lap. So that's why he's passed him and got it back. The brother confusion is here as they work through, and you see out the front, Jordan, he's got this race under control. He's set some really late times to get that down. Will we see the last lap board this time? No, we're not seeing it out this time.
Just waiting for it. They're just heading towards that 59-minute mark. So 2 more laps to go, and this race will be done. Jordan Mickles powering towards turn 1, followed by Adam Julian and then Mana Melmazak. So the top 3 have settled themselves down after the last safety car that we experienced, and they are just peeling away from the field. Julian now 3.843 seconds behind Mickles, and Melmazak sitting behind Adam Julian. Whitaker, Hodgson, Brooks, Dippy, Brazier, Dippy, Scholes leading the Class 3. Flanagan, Wright, Patterson, Neal, O'Donnell and Sylvester, who had the spin, sitting in P16 dead last, but still racing, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, Hodgson tried to make a move there on him.
So the last lap board will not be too far away from coming out for Jordan Mickles. Gives Patterson a flash. Remember, young James Patterson got caught out in the turn. And there was the last lap board for Jordan Mickles on the run home to complete a stunning win in this 1 hour race for classes 2 and 3 in the Carter's Tyres Service South Island Endurance Series. He has not been touched once during this race. It will be another lights to flag victory, the second after Reece Gould did that one in classes 4 and 5. Julian 4 seconds behind him. Melmazak, oh, look at the difference between Melmazak and Julian. There's nothing really in this one, shall we see? Although we've got Melmazak, as we can see, getting under pressure. But here he comes, Jordan Mickles in the Mark II Mustang. The young man out of Invercargill. Hometown boy is going to do the job. coming onto the front straight. Checkered flag will be coming out. And the lad from Invercargill will take the checkered flag. Jordan Michaels wins the 1 hour classes 2 and 3 endurance race here in the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series, followed home by Adam Julian and Mana Melmazak make up the top 3. What a performance, lights to flag.
Yeah, great performance, consistent throughout, just like that first race we saw from Gould. Just never made a mistake. We didn't really even see the car get sideways or anything like that. He just put a performance down and did extremely well. Julian there second place was classy. He had a little battle with Melmazak to start with, but he was classy from there on. Melmazak with a great run after that. I don't know what happened during that foot stop, but definitely lost about 3 or 4 spots. And another one to show out. Showed out at the first round with the second place, but an awesome effort by it.
And most importantly, we've just had an update from Motorsport New Zealand. Adam Julian wins classes 2 and 3, the overall class national championship. So that's congratulations to him with that second place. Gets the numbers from Mana Melmazak. So congratulations to Adam Julian. He's your class 2 and 3 national champion. So nice way to finish the day for him.
Yeah, not too bad with a round to spare. That's not bad to do. So that's a great effort to win the national championship from Adam. And he's done a lot of racing recently in open wheeler cars, and he's been running around the series for a long time. So great to see him. He's finally got a really competitive car and really showing what he can do.
Confirmation of this race result. We see Jordan Michaels with a lights to flag win from Adam Julian and Mana Melmazak. That's your podium. Followed in by Matt Whitaker, Ayrton Hodson, Steve Brooks, Martin Dippy, Glenn Brazier, Alan Dippy, and Steve Scholes, who will win that Class 3 result. To the rest of the field, Flanagan, Wright, Patterson, Neil, O'Donnell, and Sylvester. That was your complete field in the 1 hour result for Classes 2 and 3 of the Carter's Tyre Service South Island Endurance Series. You know what? It may not be a huge field, but gee whiz, what's going on with lap 1 here for both classes 4 and 5 and 2 and 3?
Well,
out comes the safety car straight away on turn 1.
So you do not want to miss lap 1 of this 3-hour race, which is coming up in about an hour's time. So yeah, we're going to have a lunch break, but I think we're going to try and get some reaction from the results. But then we've got a lunch break. But you want to be back for the start of the race. We are 2 from 2 with safety cars on the first corner, first lap.
So there are 14 cars in the 3-hour endurance race that we are looking forward to. And the current leaders, the national championship leaders, Sam Fillmore and Johnny Reed are on pole. Beside them, Hayden Knighton and Kane Lawson in the AMG GT3 Mercedes. Row 2, Mana Melmazak and John O'Lester. There's Glenn Smith and John DeVeth in their McLaren, followed by Steve Brooks and Andrew Waite on row 3, followed by the Pedersons, father and son combination in that Bezos, beautiful, that Bezos AMG GT. That's a gorgeous looking car. Dippy and Penny on row 4 with Rhodes and Rickaby. Alan Dippy and Scott O'Donnell on row 5 with Hugh Gardner and Matt Spratt. Row 6, Christina All West and Bree Morris in their GT4. Again with Daryl Bennett and Hamish Frew, and then that's row 6 and row 7, David Rogers and Tony Houston and Grant Moore and Matt Moore. So that's just a little bit of a sneaky peek into the grid for the 3-hour that will start in about 45 minutes time here at Teretonga Park Raceway. Very excited people out there. Having done the result. Wow, that looks like Adam Julian. I think he's just found out they may have won the national championship. So congratulations to him, and we'll get some reaction from Stevie in just a moment. So hugs all round. Well, okay, yeah. Thanks, Stevie. Well, if you're ready to go, just fire up, buddy.
Okay, guys, we're here with Jordan Michaels, mate. We've seen the elation of that one with you and the team. Pretty happy, eh?
Yeah, it's really special. We've been doing this series for so long, and I've had so many people get behind me and invest in me for years, and so many special moments of this track. I learned to drive here, Formula Ford here, every category here, and I guess to have my first endurance series win at home is special for my family. It's special for all my team. They probably want it more than me, to be fair, with how hard they've worked. So yeah, can't really put it into words. Awesome.
So they're pretty chuffed. Dad's pretty chuffed, mate. New car for you too as well, so you must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, well, new car for Peter Williams, who got behind me with the Honda a few years ago, and then the Focus, and I guess he's caught the racing bug really, really bad, and decided to invest in this, and I'm just so grateful I get the opportunity to drive something that I can show my potential in. So thank you to Peter and thank you to his family.
Well, go lap it up, mate. Enjoy that first win, Jordan. And Dad's over there. He's pretty happy as well. We'll move on to second spot, wherever he is. Adam Julian. How you going, Adam? Second, mate. Pretty happy with that?
Hey, yeah, very happy. Yep, new to the track. Had a lot of bad luck here in the last 3 outings. So, yeah, happy. Good result.
So what'd you do differently from the last 3 outings that you done this one, apart from finish second?
Buy a faster car and flow, I guess. It's flow. It's, Andy's been saying let it flow, and, I haven't up until now on the brakes, panic on the gas. It's not how it works here. So it is let the car do the work and, move through that field.
So you're still learning the car, aren't you? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago at Ruapuna. So, the team yourself, it's got to be a good feeling.
It's a very good feeling, yeah. That's a foreign feeling, but no, I'm happy to get used to it. And, yeah, it is a team effort. So thank you to everyone, Neil Motorsport and the guys. I really appreciate it.
Well, congratulations on second spot. Go and enjoy it. And we'll go to third place, Mr. Melmizek. In the Porsche, the only Porsche up here, mate. You got to be wrapped with that.
I'm really happy. It's a big fight, really, especially with Julian, with Adam. But I'm happy with being third. I actually stalled in the pit, which cost me 2 positions. I had to fight back. Lots of safety car, that helped. Great track. I love this track. It's my favorite.
Well, go lap it up, mate. Third place at the Carter's Tyres South Island Endurance Series. This is your podium, race number 2.
Thank you, Steffi. Congratulations to all our podium place getters. And that wraps up the 1 hour for the classes 2 and 3, and also run the classes 4 and 5 1 hour. But still to come is the 3 hour. And on pole, leaders in the championship, Sam Fillmore and Johnny Reid in the RA GTS. So much to look forward to. That is time to go at 1:30 this afternoon, live here on Pits TV around New Zealand and around the world from Teretonga.